I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want, and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right, and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target!
I'm in the world, but not of it. I praise God every day and I love it. I say what I want, and I say what they want. I stand for the truth and what's right, and they don't. Life is simple, it's no puzzle. Common sense will tell you not to wear a muzzle. Fear no evil, trust no people. When in doubt, shout, I'm a believer. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me. I fear no man, though the world is broken. God, shine your light on me.
I offend everybody, the left, right, in the middle. Blame my parents because I've been this way since I was little. It used to be normal, now everybody praying to crystals. No wonder why it's so easy for the devil to trick you. They treat you like dogs, hitting muzzles all on your faces, forcing kids to wear them in schools. Doesn't this seem outrageous? They ban Bible scriptures on TikTok.
Let's go to Target! Let's go to Target! Need some PlayStations! Let's go to Target! Monday! Good morning, everybody. Bad Cramps, Gramps, Auntie King. What's up? Happy Monday, guys. Monday night, kicking the week off right. Dreaded Conservative show. Welcome to the show. We got some interesting news this week. We're gonna look at Anthony Fauci pleads the fifth. I plead the fifth. Fauci pleads the fifth. More than 100 times. Shocker. After saying, I'll be totally transparent. I'll tell him everything. He doesn't tell us nothing. I plead the fifth. It was just a chance for Congress members to yell at him. They just everybody got a chance to take their pound of flesh and just roast Fauci, and he just sat there. I plead the fifth. I'm trying to do a Jewish old guy accent. I plead the fifth. What's up, Stamey? And then we got Coochie Conservatives, Conserva-Coochie-Grifters. Dude, I thought this chick was AI. But we're gonna look at this what's her name? Sav Cannon. It's so sad because Sav Says is my favorite. I love Sav. But this Sav is a degenerate Sav. OG Sav is better. Coochie Conservatives, I guess it's this chick, and now other chicks are starting to do it because now it's the format, I guess. Now it's the meta. These girls who just sit on the camera like this. I'm going to start streaming like this, guys. I'm going to do it. And then we have the Spain. How do you say this? Quetta? The Quetta invasion of Spain.
And I guess now they're sending them back. So I don't know what that was all about. That was weird, but crazy the videos we seen from Spain coming earlier in the week of this invasion from Morocco. So we'll look at that stuff. And then in rapid fire, I have the In-N-Out shooting this week. That was pretty crazy. And a bunch of other stuff. There was a shooting at the, I have that in local news, or in rapid fire news also. There was a shooting last weekend at the park right up the street, and there's video from it. Wait till you see who's in this video. We have somebody in a video from a shooting at the freaking Scum Circle that happened this past weekend. And there's a guy in the video who is a star from one of my other videos. He's on the thumbnail of one of my older videos. You'll see when you see him. But it's pretty funny. And then for the last hour and a half, we're going to review some of the first 2 rounds of Word War. I already watched like 5 minutes of the one with Owlish. I don't know if I'm going to be watching the whole thing. I will not be watching that whole debate. Sorry. But we'll skim through that one. I do want to watch the Rex Jones one. I didn't even realize Rex Jones was in Word War debate until like 2 days ago. It said Jones, and then I never realized it. And then I saw the picture, and I was like, oh, that's Rex Jones. What the heck? Well, that add another name to the list of competition to be worried about. Spitting chin tattoo chick. Close, but no. Oh, shoot, I wasn't supposed to drink that on stream. I have 1 beer left over from the box I bought on the weekend, so usually we're not drinking a beer on the Monday show, but let's just have one. Okay. So let's get started. Let's get into the show. What do you guys think about that?
It doesn't matter what you think.
All right. I had a BBC article here, but they're trying to make me pay a subscription fee to read BBC. No. I know, but I plead a fifth. Okay. Fauci takes the fifth. The fifth. More than 100 times. And Republicans look to contempt charge. They're going to charge him contempt. Fauci spent decades, this is from CNN, nurturing his reputation as the government's most recognizable, most accessible. He's very accessible. Very accessible. The most accessible and often most voluble authority on the nation's public access health crisis. On Wednesday, under intense scrutiny and the ever-present threat of prosecution, Fauci spent a congressional hearing that spanned well over 2 hours, uttering only a single 24-word sentence. Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Oh, I got there. I think I got there. The retired government scientist who guided the U.S. COVID-19 pandemic response across 2 administrations invoked his constitutional right against self-incrimination more than 100 times throughout a high-profile and often contentious hearing that Republicans had hoped would open up to claims of perjury. Well, it doesn't seem like it's opened him up to these perjury claims. They are looking to hold him in contempt of court, but it's funny. I don't have the clip, but there's an old clip of him saying, you know, I've got no reason to lie. I've got no reason to lie. Why would I lie to the American people? I'll be totally transparent. And he's not transparent. He's not. He pleads the fifth more times than Dave Chappelle. And this is Fauci we're talking about. Let's see if I can. It's going to play an ad, but while the ad plays, I'm going to keep reading. In the meantime, the hearing that Paul had touted as an opportunity to get long, elusive answers about the COVID crisis only appeared to deepen sharp partisan divisions that have scarred the U.S. for more than 6 years and made Fauci a political lightning rod. Dude, I'm still seeing lefties posting the right wants to attack our scientists. Our scientists. The right wants to attack our scientists, and they have a big picture of their God Fauci. The God King Fauci. And the left are still following. They're still blind as bat. These people are probably still wearing masks. These probably are if you're still wearing a mask every day, you're a retard. Cut it out. Fix your life. Something's wrong with you mentally. Why can't I see my Here we go. All right, let's watch this little clip from CNN real quick.
I served at the NIH.
I served at the NIH.
38 of those as director of the National.
I got it. It took me a little while, but I got it. I'm Dr. Fauci, and I served with the NIH. No, I plead the fifth under direct advice from my lawyers.
Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Over that period, I proved that I believe in and respect the value of legitimate congressional oversight. In fact, I testified before and or briefed Senate and House Senate and House committees well over 200 times over those 38 years.
200 times.
During and after the COVID pandemic, I have appeared multiple times for hearings in the Senate and the House, usually under oath.
But this time's gonna be nothing like those times. Those times I actually talked and I had a script and I said what they told me to say. Now, I'm just gonna plead the fifth under advice from my counsel.
And sat for several days-long transcribed sworn interviews answering questions about the very issues that are now the subject of this hearing. However, given Senator Paul's obvious obsession with calling for my prosecution, his repeated slanderous comments about me, and recently his publicly releasing my unredacted.
Oh, so it's the senator's fault that he's pleading the fifth so much. It's not my fault. He keeps attacking me.
Personal diary aimed at embarrassing
Sounds
and
like Dilbert
intimidating
from
me.
Rocco's Modern Life.
The only conclusion I can reach is that the sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote.
That's where you belong, buddy.
Any reasonable person who has followed his unhinged obsession with me
You forgot
would
this guy
readily
exists?
come
Oh, he
to
exists.
the same conclusion. Therefore, although it pains me to do so, because of the respect I have for the legislative
I have a lot of
branch
respect for the
government
legislative branch.
and my decades-long record of cooperating with Congress under the advice of my attorneys.
I will not be talking to Congress today.
I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you.
Well, at least you told us in the beginning, Fauci. We shouldn't have even wasted our time. Yeah. Okay, well, the whole testimony's here on Homeland Security, if you want the official 3-hour video. But, I think you could probably pick any time in this video.
Respectfully decline to answer based upon.
Yeah, I could pick any time in this video, and it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be Fauci saying, no, I plead the fifth.
My rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Words of a megalomaniac who was more interested there.
But
Just
for not
anytime you
believing-
can find him.
If we get
I'm just trying to find any.
May the 6th, 2020.
Anyway, anytime you find him, it was so funny. As soon as I hit play, I got it. We landed right on it. That's the whole thing. I think we have Rand Paul and Josh Hawley. And then on the stream the other night, we watched
all likelihood came from
somebody else. But we're not going to watch all of this. I do want to see this video that Rand Paul plays. It's pretty funny. Good little video clip. Good clip. Here we go.
nature. He kept saying, it's the marketplace, it's the marketplace, it's the marketplace. He's been saying that on television up until recently.
The wet
And
market.
what we find is that what he was saying.
Remember the pangolins at the wet market? Does anybody still believe that bullcrap?
In public is different than what he was saying.
If
in
you
private.
do,
In
you might be an
January,
idiot.
In private, he wrote that looks like the wet market was a super spreader event. It didn't originate there. We know that some of the earliest deaths.
all
and
the
sickness
Democrats left the
came
room
from
to
somewhere else.
testimony.
But then for years and years, we got dishonesty. So let's play the video so we can see a little juxtaposition of the problem we're dealing with.
Is it quiet?
Fauci's journal entries contradict what he said publicly about the origins of COVID-19. Fauci admitted in January 2020 that the initial outbreak of COVID
Dude, everything contradicted in COVID. They were like 6 feet, and then they were like, nah, don't worry about the 6 feet. And they were like, mask, and they were like, that mask never really did anything. And these idiots are still wearing the mask. Then they said, it was a wet market. No, it was a lab. No, it was a wet market. No, it was a lab. Wait a second. There's a gain of function research laboratory for the Wuhan virus it's called the Wuhan virus because it comes from the lab in Wuhan. Coincidence? I think not.
did not occur at a wet market.
Take a really good look at the animal-human interface and the fact that animals from the wild are being brought into wet markets. You have animals that come out of the wild that are sold.
I'll just tell the goyim that it came from a wet market.
At these open, what they call them, wet markets. Wet markets, where you bring animals in from the wild who have these viruses. The wet markets in Asia, where people bring animals from the...
Also, is this not incredibly racist that he was trying to shut down wet markets and talking about these disgusting wet markets? They just bring in random creatures and chop them up right there on the street. Everybody's getting diseases. It's not healthy. What kind of culture allows this? It seems a little racist.
Forest into market. There are wet markets in Wuhan that are ample opportunity for a virus to jump from an animal. The origin was from a bat to an intermediate host to a human, very likely in a wet market. And those animals should not have been in the Wuhan market. They knew that those animals should not have been in the market.
What do you mean I can't eat a little pangolin if I want?
And they immediately cleaned out the market, put restrictions on the kinds of animals that come into these wet markets. I think they should shut down those things right away. I mean, it boggles my mind.
Racist, xenophobic. You're trying to shut down the Asian wet markets? What, do you have a problem with their culture? I can eat whatever the fuck I want to eat if I cook it at the right temperature and long enough. Get out that dang trichinosis. But I can eat a brat or a bat or a cat or a hat.
So repeatedly saying in public something different than what he believed in private. Now this is interesting because, the first SARS outbreak in 2003 was traced to a wet market, to animals there. But interestingly, they had evidence. They had evidence that the animals had the disease.
2003, was that under Obama? So he's just taking the The tricks we learned under Obama. We can just tell them all these viruses that we're inventing are coming from wet markets. They'll believe it. I'm science.
They also had evidence that the handlers had a disproportionately high number of antibodies to the disease. So there was evidence, and the evidence was presented. So when this came out, the same thing happened again. They did look at the wet market. They looked at the wet market and tested, I think, 80,000 animals and didn't find any animals that had COVID-19. When they did find COVID-19 in trace samples there, they found that the DNA or the RNA was consistent with human spread. This was known not later on, didn't take years to develop, was known in January of 2020.
Immediately.
And so...
And then if you talked about it, you got banned on social media. You got called a crazy conspiracy theorist. And you got shut down. You became persona non grata. Because you said, you know what? I don't think this is because they were eating bat soup. I think it might have something to do with that lab where they're paying for gain-of-function research.
Dr. Fauci says privately he knows it didn't come from the wet market, but as you saw, those were over a multi-year period. One of the other discussions I've had with Dr. Fauci over the years about natural immunity. So most infections, you get a degree of immunity, not perfect, some fairly perfect. Smallpox, you just don't get again. George Washington knew this. He had his wife get vaccinated, but he didn't because he'd already had smallpox. But there's one particular story that a man came up to me who'd lost his wife to COVID. He said, we all got it. We all got sick, and my wife...
Oh, by the way, I don't know if I have it in these clips, but long COVID, turns out that's not a thing. That was never a thing. Duh! If you ever said, I got long COVID in your life, okay, you can recover. You can redeem yourself. You know, but you need to take, I don't know, you need to take 2 lashings for that or something like that for falling for the okie doke. If you fell for the okie doke on long COVID and you think that that's a thing, you might be an idiot.
Ended up getting sick enough to go to the hospital, but we'd recovered 2 weeks. She was still alive. 2 to 3 weeks later, we'd all recovered. And they wouldn't let us be with her. And to this day, it's one of the saddest things. And it just, I think all of us should think about this. They were not allowed to visit their mom. He wasn't allowed to visit his wife in the hospital. But based on this misunderstanding of natural immunity, that for some reason, 2 weeks later, they were a problem. But this was all promulgated by you. We had the workers in the, the meat factories. They were essential. They had to keep working. Most of them got COVID. They got it in the first couple of weeks. Most of them were younger. The reassurance should have come from public health. The reassurance should have said, congratulations, you've recovered.
Why?
It also should be acknowledged. What's the number one thing we can do if we get another pandemic? Before we have a vaccine, before we have monoclonal antibodies, it would be to utilize natural immunity. So instead of the advice you were giving to Cuomo and others in New York that led to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people or tens of thousands of people, you could have been saying, well, maybe the nurses taking care of the elderly should be people who are 2 weeks out from COVID infection.
And maybe we shouldn't move young people into old people homes where we let young black kids beat up old guys to death.
We could have used natural immunity as somewhat of a block of protection. Imperfect, but the only protection we had and the only thing we could have done. Instead, the nursing homes were seated with people who had COVID. So I think the discussion of natural immunity is one.
And Gretchen Whitmer and Cuomo, they all need to be held accountable for that. They need to be held accountable for the deaths that they caused from that crap. That was so stupid. Okay, let's go to he makes his point there. Let's go to Josh Hawley.
Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc?
Yeah.
Let's try something.
Real honest and transparent.
Today?
I plead the fifth.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to
He's colorblind, Josh.
to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
You know that. Your lawyers sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt.
But the Democrats love the Constitution.
Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic, you got rich.
And you got rich as fuck.
Didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees
and you were lying
with
to people.
taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
Under advice from my lawyers, I'm going to be pleading the fifth.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to
What's up,
answer
Reed?
based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
You remember Greg Folkers? Who was that?
Greg Fokker?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Your chief of staff is the answer. Do you remember Patricia Conrad? Who was that?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
She was your personal assistant. And what were these individuals doing in the depth of the pandemic in November of 2020 when millions of Americans were suffering from COVID? What were they doing? I tell you what they're doing. Folkers was on your behalf soliciting and gathering information for a cash award. Let's look at it. We've got his email right here, right over my shoulder. Folkers says, I'm working on this nomination for the Dan David Award for Fauci. We need to beef up the COVID part. Do you have language in the can that you could share that delineates how we responded in new ways to COVID? He sends this to
in many ways to COVID. Beef up the COVID part.
multiple federal employees. What was the Dan David Award? Do you remember, Doc?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
It was a $900,000 cash award. $900,000 cash award. And he got it because he used federal employees to get it. And this wasn't the only award, was it, Dr. Fauci? In fact, you applied for and received at least 8 other federal cash prizes on federal time using federal employees and federal resources. Here they are over my shoulder. Besides the Dan David Award, you've got the Partnership for Public Service, you've got the Adelson Prize, you've got the Smithsonian Award, you've got the National Academy of Medicine's Award, you've got the CDC Foundation. In fact, you turned your staff into a full-time application machine. You actually wrote to people and said, do you think maybe I'd qualify? And you got cash for all of this. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 employees, was it? In fact, you used 8 separate federal employees on federal time using federal resources to solicit cash awards. Isn't that true?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
And that's how it goes. That's how it continues to go. That's it. Basically, it's all like that. This isn't even Waters. This is
Very bad guy. Good guy.
it's it's Waters World, but I don't think this is Waters doing the interviews, talking to New Yorkers about what they think of Fauci, and let's see if they're still brainwashed. Let's see if New Yorkers are still brainwashed from the COVID pandemic. Oh, really bad sniffles from bat soup. Lock them up. I agree. Let's see if New York has changed their tune at all. Now this is happening. Waters World. Shout out Waters World.
Dr. Fauci.
That's not Jesse.
Good guy or bad guy?
I don't know who that is.
I'd say bad guy.
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. She got memory hold. She's been memory hold, boys.
Very bad guy.
Good guy.
Good guy. Of course, this thing says good guy. What is that?
It doesn't matter what you think.
Hold on. Where is it? Where is?
It's a man, baby.
Okay.
Smart people are really nice to have.
I like him. I like him.
I like smart people.
I don't know. I can't put a finger on it.
He's a hero.
What would we do without him?
We would be lost without him.
I look to him to lead my life.
Yes.
Snap out of it.
Fauci was the brains behind all the shutdowns. Was that a good idea?
No. People went crazy.
I basically only had like 1 year of high school.
Totally needed.
You didn't want to see anybody anyway.
Shocker. She only had 1 year of high school. That's why she doesn't know who Fauci is.
No.
It depends on what we learned from it.
Well, what did you learn?
To not talk so much.
Depends on what we learn, guys. What is that? That is such a bad wig.
They made it like really hard to get toilet paper and
I have to go to the bathroom. Do you miss your mask?
so out of pocket. I do not miss my mask.
I have asthma and I couldn't breathe.
People still wear the mask every day. I have coworkers who still wear a mask every day. Their brains are cooked.
It messes up with the beard, man.
Do you know he kind of made up the mask guidance?
Seriously,
hell is
wow,
that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that part.
Aww.
You're losing my sway with him.
That's okay. Did you social distance?
I wasn't able to work.
Me and my friends didn't care about that at all.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Do you know that he made social distance?
Of course this lady did. Of course this lady still has long COVID, even though we know it's not a thing. It was harm from the vaccine. But they still got long COVID. And 10 vaccines.
Distancing up?
Oh, wow.
I did not.
Fauci, come on, man.
Bad guy, bad guy. Him.
And what about the Beagles?
Did you get vaxxed?
Absolutely not.
I got both. I got the booster too. They required that the second year.
Did you get COVID after the vax?
Wait, this chick who's been acting base this whole time. Also, this is a femcon. This is an insurgent right here. She's trying to act base. Yeah, me and my friends didn't care about COVID. We didn't wear masks. It was out of pocket. I didn't like the social distancing. But you got a vax and a booster to what? Keep your $13.50 an hour job? Yeah, you're not base, lady. You can't have kids anymore.
Like a million bajillion times.
So did it work?
It did not work.
How many times have you had COVID?
6 times.
Is the 7th one free?
6 times. You know, she got long COVID, wide COVID, skinny COVID, obese COVID.
Damn it. He made me laugh.
Now he got his hands on his diary, where he wrote down things and went on TV and said the opposite. He said on TV that COVID deaths were around 3%, and then he wrote in his diary they were around 0%.
That's ridiculous.
What the hell?
You got to put fear in people's heart in order to get them to move the way you want them to move.
Little
Agree.
white lie. It's called a little white lie.
A little white.
A little white lie. It just cost all of America, our entire economy, our children's futures. They don't know how to read faces anymore. We have retards that are afraid to take off a mask ever. Yeah. A little white lie. It's just a little white lie.
White lie doesn't hurt anybody.
Well, yeah, in this case, yeah.
It just gave a bunch of students mental health problems because they kept them out of school.
Yeah, but in my mind, of course, it was needed because I didn't want to spread it.
You had it 6x pure blood. You're saying you had COVID 6 times, but here's my question, Lord Spike. How would you know that you had COVID? You shoved that lobotomy stick up your brain? Oh no. I don't know, Lord Spike. You lose base points for that. You shouldn't have even known you have COVID. We don't go to the doctor for the sniffles. I don't stick a stick into my brain every time I get the sniffles. What are you doing? How would you even know you had it 6 times? I got sick twice. Did I have COVID? I don't know. I don't go to the doctor when I get the sniffles. I don't take a test when I get the sniffles. Symptoms the symptoms were the same as the flu. You had a stuffy nose, a sore throat, you couldn't smell stuff good. I don't get it. Blood work? You got blood work done every time you got, or you just, or I don't know. Anyway. Didn't get COVID once, never was tested. Right. I wouldn't know if I ever got it because I'm not taking that test. You want to get real conspiratorial. I heard that some of those tests were giving people COVID. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that on the YouTube. I don't know. That's just what I heard. That's allegedly.
He also wrote in his diary that he's more sexy than Tyra Banks.
She's drop dead gorgeous. Him, on the other hand, what? It's an old, wrinkly man.
Okay, good. Okay, well, that's fine.
What do you want to tell Fauci?
That's fine.
I love you, Dr. Fauci. I want Dr. Fauci to know that he can go himself.
He seems like someone that...
This guy walked up and he's like, Fauci's a great guy. And then by the end of the interview, he's saying he can go F himself.
just needed, like what I say, a good friend. And his friend was his diary? It may have been.
Dear diary.
Joe Biden gave Dr. Fauci a pardon. Why do you think he did that? Perhaps he was guilty of crime.
That insinuates that Dr. Fauci is guilty as hell.
Clearly, Joe Biden saw something before the rest of us.
He was in Congress today, and he pleaded the fifth over 100 times. Does an innocent person plead the fifth?
Probably not.
Of course he did. What else is he going to say? I lied?
Not over 100 times.
I like how Pink Shirt has just totally flipped his whole worldview in 5 seconds of talking to him.
Statistically, no.
They asked him what color was his tie.
He pleaded the fifth to what color was his tie?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, there it is. I'm glad somebody got the clip.
Where did the coronavirus even come from?
Something like Wang Hu, I think.
Wuhan.
Wuhan. Yeah, see, I was close.
Created in a lab from a monkey.
It was a bat.
Or was it the monkey and the bat that a boom chicka wow wow?
What the fuck? It was a pangolin.
Okay, that wasn't public, but yeah, okay.
Do you know who I am?
I do not.
Here's Johnny.
Be sure to like it.
Okay. All right. That was funny. Okay. Anyway, I think that's all I got on that. He really just pleads the fifth a lot. We're not just going to keep watching him plead the fifth extensively. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got one more thing. Bill Maher breaks with the left to hammer Anthony Fauci after explosive Senate hearing. Hey, Bill, why didn't you pick up on any of this when it was happening and call it, what was observable, what we all, anybody who's not an idiot, saw this and talked about this. But now, 6 years later, now you want to, he's turned over a new leaf. Why? Because it's popular? Because you're following the trends to be the cool guy. Comedian and talk show host Bill Maher railed against former National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease Director, that's a long-ass title, Dr. Anthony Fauci, just days after he invoked his Fifth Amendment right 111 times. During Friday's episode of Real Time, he called out Fauci for telling actual lies about the origin. No duh. He was caught in actual lies, Maher said, adding the big issue to me is the origin of this, which is very important. How did it start? Yeah. Well, you finally figured it out, Bill. Good job, buddy. Smoke another one, buddy. I'm not going to watch that clip. We're going to move on to well, the COVID story would have been super important, 4 years ago if people were paying attention to the world around them. But now it's not so much important anymore. Nothing's going to happen to Fauci. He's already pardoned. We're moving on to something that is crazy. The Spanish invasion. What is this? The ACLED. What does the latest migration surge mean for Spain? So how do you say this? Quera? Let look at my notes. Ceuta. Someplace called Ceuta in Spain. Supreme Court does something. They say we're gonna let the Moroccans come in. And Ceuta got invaded by like 60,000 Hispanic dudes or Moroccan dudes. I don't know. They look somewhere like a mix between Latino and Muslim, but they're Moroccan. I don't know. They flooded Ceuta. And it's a problem. Let me read this. Following the Spanish Supreme Court's ruling that migrants arriving in Spain by sea cannot be immediately returned to Morocco, more than 50,000 migrants crossed into the Spanish exclave of Ceuta near the city of Fnideq. That is not a word. Nidec. I'm guessing the F is silent. The F is for Nidec. Between 30 and 31st of July, while the mayor-president of Ceuta urged the Spanish government to call a state of national emergency, the army was deployed to contain the inflow of migrants. Early reports say 34 people drowned while attempting the crossing. I think the death toll of this little event is up to like 57. And I think the total of people that came over was like 57 to 60,000, not 50,000. But the numbers will differ. 34. The latest developments, while unprecedented in their scale, are reminiscent of May 2021, when Moroccan border guards allowed the passage of more than 10,000 migrants to Spain within 2 days to protest Madrid's perceived support for the independence of Western Sahara. Following Spain's recognition of Moroccan sovereignty over the contested province in 2022, and a bilateral agreement on migration in 2023, the number of crossings to Spain decreased significantly, highlighting the rapprochement between both countries. This was also reflected in political violence trends on the ground. While ACLED records 27 clashes between migrants and security forces, both Spanish and Moroccan, in 2021, only 15 of such events were recorded between 2024 and 2026 in total, with only 3 events taking place in 2026, including the latest. Conversely, the intensifying crackdown on migrants was reflected in a growing number of arrests. So basically, they had a time when they were letting the Moroccans in. Crime was high. They tightened it up. It went down. And then they rule that migrants reaching by sea could not be immediately deported, and they get a flood. Crime skyrockets instantly. And that's where we are now. And now this was going on early in the week, and everybody was freaking out about it. They are cracking down already. Where is my... Hold on once. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay. I find it's not high enough. COVID was to disarm us from the Muslim invasion during the shutdown. I think during the shutdown, we were more getting invaded by the Mexicans, but also some Muzzies. Hold on, ad's gonna play for 10 seconds. Okay. So we're going to get the background first, and then we just got a lot of videos. Some crazy videos coming out of this. Okay, let's see this from AP. So tens of thousands of migrants voluntarily leave after crossing into Spanish territory of Ceuta. Okay, so this is after they got here. Hold on, let's see. Before we get to this, let's see.
Relieved
as
to
it's
finally
happening.
Made it to Ceuta. Hundreds of migrants.
Ceuta.
Dry land in the Spanish territory. They've spent hours.
Now, people have been commenting they're all military-age fighting men. You will see a couple ladies in here, but mostly it is.
Hours at sea, some say more than 4, crossing from Morocco to the Spanish enclave north of the country, in hope of obtaining asylum in the European Union, a distance of approximately 5 kilometers.
Yes. I want to work.
Are they Muslim?
It took me 2 hours. This is my little brother.
Most are Moroccan, hoping to find a stable job in Spain. But the reality, some say,
and what are they going to do? They're just going to run in and live on the streets?
Is very different to what many expect.
I don't understand why they come, why they're led to believe that there's a future. Yes, there are jobs, but then they're faced with the harsh reality that they have nothing, and people treat them as if they are nobodies.
After an upsurge of crossings over the past few days, Spain has now decided to deploy its military to attempt to gain control of the situation. A decision that comes after local authorities had asked Madrid for more help.
This is like a peaceful video. This is all like nice stuff. 40,000 migrants. This is early too. It got up to 57 at least.
Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, has called for Spain to be suspended from the Schengen area. In response, the Spanish Foreign Minister said Italy was weaponizing immigration for political ends. Both Spain and Morocco have said they were working towards a quick return.
Look at all the trash in the water. Well, they just made rafts and floated on little floaty rings.
Of those who'd entered illegally, and applications for asylum in Spain will be processed.
Crazy. Applications for asylum. I just have a bunch of videos from X here. Look at the beach. It's hard to see, but it's just an endless stream of them. Just floating across the ocean. 34 of them drown. They're not the strongest swimmers. Fights in the streets between African illegals and Spaniards have broken out as the invasion of Ceuta continues. Ceuta. This is likely going to get worse in the nighttime hours. These guys are saying, get the hell out of our town. People are looting and stealing. Yeah, they just floated across the ocean for 2 hours. They don't have anything. They came over with a pair of swim trunks, and they're going to settle a new land. Colonizing is not their forte. And then look at this. Look at this from Retard Finder. Retard is waving the illegals into Spain. I'm coining the phrase suicidal retardation. Look at this white passing lady holding up her cell phone, waving them all in. Ooh, hey, boys. Oh, yeah, boys. Come on in. You're going to be the first to get graped. Or, I don't know if she's waving them in or she's like cooling herself off like, ooh, look at all these hot young guys that are coming into the country. Either way, she's an idiot. Now, this says progressimo out of context. It's out of context. So, you know, maybe it's it does kind of look like she's fanning herself off, but either way, why are you recording all these shirtless men running by you and going, ooh, TikTok, look at all these boys. Either way, it's not a good look. Death toll rises to 67 after migrants storm Spain's border.
Try to stop us, but our will and our determination, we could came here.
We could came here.
Death toll has risen to 67 after more than 60,000 illegal migrants poured across the Moroccan border into the Spanish territory of Ceuta over the last 2 days. President Trump reacting. Watch
Ceuta.
This.
You know, I saw Spain yesterday, and I watched the catastrophe that took place. It looks like an invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people.
It was 60,000. A little bit too many people there, Trump. But now he could be right. Maybe they're giving us small numbers.
And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected, except worse. Much bigger, much easier to get into. We have the safest border in the world. If we're not in office, our country will be invaded at levels that made Spain look small time.
Former State Department Foreign Service Officer Simon Hankinson joins us now. Thanks for joining us this morning, Simon. Look, I get it that Spain's open border policy.
I get it that if you're freaking Moroccan, maybe you'd probably rather live in Spain. If you're African, you'd rather live in Europe. Shocker. You know, I don't blame them.
Policies invited this. But I'm still confused about, over a 48-hour period, 60,000 people charged the border. What was it that sparked that invasion?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the conditions have been there for a long time. It's not like that fence got any shorter over the past couple of months. Back in 2021, there were 8,000 people who came over in one day, which is close to our record at the southern border of 12,000. And as you say, in pretty much 24 hours, 60,000 people made it over, of whom most have gone back, although at least 10,000 supposed minors are remaining for Spain to deal with. There had to be some politics behind this. The Moroccans obviously let them through. There are reports that the Moroccans encouraged them, not officially, but through social media and other means, by telling them that they could get into Spain and that they wouldn't be sent home again, because if they swam, it comes under a different provision of Spanish law. So I think the struggle between Spain and Morocco, the political animosity there had something to do with it, and that was the immediate trigger. But the risk is always there.
Right. So, and then
It's crazy. This is wild. But anyway, it seems that the military has tightened up and they're kicking them out. All of this news I've been showing you has been throughout the week. This is 2 days ago. I've been showing you stuff from 4 days ago, 3 days ago. Now, the most recent news, the military's been activated and they're chasing these people out. Let's see this. Military and police escort swarm of migrants out of Spain's Ceuta. So they're getting them out. But how many do you think are like hiding in there and didn't get rounded up? Because where are they going to go? 60,000 of them land on a beach. They have no money. They have no stuff. They just camped on the beach. And police just round them up and walk them out a week later. Are they going to swim back? Are they going on a boat? But how many of them how many of them were at least smart enough not to just camp on the beach with 50,000 other immigrants? How many of them snuck into the villages and are now on the corners panhandling, or I don't know, they might have been able to find some work. Maybe they have family there or something. How many of them did they not round up to get out? And how did all these shirtless guys get new clothes all of a sudden? Probably because there was humane groups down there handing them clothes, food, everything they need. They killed the myth blacks couldn't swim. None of these people are black, Freddie. Fact check, you're wrong. None of these guys are black. What are you talking about? They speak Spanish. They're northern Moroccan. They're only 2 miles away from freaking Spain. Genius. Nobody ever said brown people can't swim. And apparently, a lot of them couldn't swim. If 67 died, that's out of 60,000. That's more than 1 per every 1,000 couldn't make the swim. I don't know. That's probably not a horrible ratio for a 2-hour swim. The average person probably, I don't know. But they had floaties. They had flugels. Remember the arm floaties? And they had little donuts. Oh, there's the straggler. Get in the lineup. You're going home. Some of these guys are like, I ain't going back. I don't hear them screaming Allahu Akbar though, or maybe maybe all the news stations are doing a good job to edit out the Allahu Akbar. I don't know if these guys are Muslim. It seems like you keep catching the end of a Allahu Akbar, but like they're editing to make sure you don't hear none of that. What is the major religion in Morocco? Major religion. I mean, what am I even? Of course it's going to be Islam. Islam, Sunni Islam. 99% of the population. Yeah, they're Muslim. He just flicked us up. Yeah, they're hard working. Wow. Spain deploys troops to block Moroccans from entering, attempting to cross. So they're blocking the entrances. They got the troops out there. I think they did declare a state of emergency at one point, but yeah, they did. And they have the military out here. They kicked out the ones they could round up. They're keeping new ones from coming in. They're like, yeah, that was a bad idea. But how many of them, escaped the searches? If 60,000 came in, how many you think they got out? 50? I bet 10,000 slipped through, and those are the most nefarious ones. It has to be planned, like the caravans from South America. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. And so tens of thousands of migrants who crossed into Spain's tiny Ceuta territory returned voluntarily to Morocco on Friday. Tens of thousands returned voluntarily. Okay, well, you got 60,000. So what? 20 of them went back voluntarily. Maybe 10 of them got rounded up. 30,000 of them are still there. A day after the influx triggered chaos in the North African city and reignited the immigration debate in Europe and beyond. Reignited the immigration debate? When has it not been ignited? What do you mean? Reignited. At least 57 migrants died on the journey. Ceuta's president put the number of migrants at 60,000, which was equivalent to 70% of the territory's population. But most of them soon went back, allegedly. The Spanish government said after the sudden arrival of so many people sparked a humanitarian crisis. Well, I mean, if they're going to swim 2 miles across a dang ocean and risk drowning, they got no long distance swim training and they're just going to jump in the ocean and start swimming. Or I guess that would be what, part of the Mediterranean Sea. Then their country is a humanitarian crisis. Some migrants swam several miles through the sea and faced down authorities who tried to turn them back with water cannons. Could you imagine you swim 2 miles, you finally get there and you're a little late, and you land on the beach, and then they start blasting you with a water cannon saying, "Get back in the water. Swim back." Oh my God. At least, well, if the water cannons, I don't know, they're probably just sucking water out of the ocean. So you're probably getting blasted with salt water. You can't even take a drink. I'd be like, at least if the fresh water's coming out of the water can, you could get a little sip of water before you jump back in the water. You just got out the water. Now you're getting blasted with the water. You're going back in the water. This is crazy. Ay caramba. Some migrants, tear gas and warning shot. Those who died included some who drowned or were killed in a stampede to cross a breakwater barrier near a border checkpoint. Spain deployed its armed forces and additional police to restore order in Ceuta, which sits on the Strait of Gibraltar at the entrance of the Mediterranean Sea. See, I know geometry. And has been a Spanish possession since 1580 on the Moroccan side of the border. Security forces clashed with migrants. The chaos also has ripple effect abroad, with Italy and France pledging to tighten their controls on people arriving from Spain. This guy's just running. I floated over with that orange bouncy ball. Situation is absolutely unsustainable. Yeah, no duh. Release the sharks. Yeah, don't worry about what I said, Stamey. Yeah. The Mediterranean Sea, the Strait of Gibraltar, geometry. Duh. Release the sharks. Can we get some sharks with some freaking lasers on their freaking heads? How about no? Maybe sharks with Clintons riding on them. Because Clintons, you know about the Clintons.
Murderers. Yeah.
Oh, Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Spanish Prime Minister condemns border breach. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez visited Ceuta on Friday and condemned the border breach, what she described as a violation of Spain's territorial integrity. Sanchez blamed human smugglers for the crisis, saying they deceive so many young people and ultimately lead many of them to their deaths, whether in the ocean or in the city. I don't know if they were talking about coyotes. I don't know if this is a coyote situation. As a mass invasion like this, a mass exodus, they don't have coyote. Maybe there's a couple of coyotes that are standing there on the beach saying, all right, swim that way. Look for the fence. You see the fence, you go to the right side of the fence, not the left side of the fence, the right side of the fence. You swim, right side of fence. That's all the coyotes did. Wasn't no coyotes swimming across with these people helping them. They just said, jump in the water. The agua. You swim across the agua. How long is the swim? Oh, I don't know. It's pretty far. But if you get thirsty, you have lots of water to drink. That's salt water. I don't know. I was actually just watching a history video about the USS Indianapolis earlier. What did they get? Oh, is that the one that crashed and a lot of them got eaten by sharks? Sad story. Okay. What else? Just a lot of videos. I think I played all these. Yeah. All right, guys. It's about that time. It's about the time that what all the guys came here for. I know what you guys came here for. You know what you guys came here for. I know what you guys came here for. It's about that time. It's about that time. We got to talk about the cooter mogger. She even called, dude, at least she's proud of it. We're going to talk about the Sav Cannon situation. All right, guys. If you don't know yet, you'll find out here first. The cooter mogger. The cooter mogger, Sav Cannon. So this is new conservative media. This is the conservosphere. This is where we've progressed. This is what we've reached. Girls sitting in chairs like this with the whole dang monkey outlined in extra detail. She's wearing them damn spandex that accentuate the monk. And she just steals people's content, says based talking points that go viral. And I don't have the clip. Who showed me that clip? It was Avarice, I think, this past weekend. He got me a clip of this girl and another guy side by side, and she's saying word for word exactly what he says. So these are not original thoughts. Anybody who watches this girl and like, man, she's based. She's just saying based viral takes that other people have said and repeating them with her monkey showing. And it's going viral. She's the talk of the town. Let's see what this is all about.
I got a DM from a black guy the other day saying, "Oh, well, why do you listen to black people's music if you hate black people so much?" Are you serious? They can't even...
She doesn't hate black people. If you watch her older content, spoiler alert, JS knows about her older content. I did research, guys. It's research, all right? She used to do the girl on the street videos where she would walk around in like pretty much nothing and walk up to guys on the street and be like, smack or kiss. And they either like smack her ass or give her a kiss. And then she was doing one where she's walking up to guys and she's got her pornography pictures on her phone, pictures of her naked. And she says, smash or pass, and holds up pictures of her naked in pornography positions for these guys. And she liked the dark ones. You know, if you watch her old videos, she liked going up to large African American men and showing them her naked self and saying smash or pass and then flirting with them. So she doesn't hate black people. She just says stuff like that because it goes viral. She's a dang shark. Speaking of Unleash the Sharks.
form a full thought. They go straight to one little feeling and they get angry. A victim card. That's exactly what it was, a victim card. Like, I never said ever that I hate black people. That's absurd. I have literally made a video explaining how people don't hate you based on the color of your skin, but they will judge you and dislike you for how you act, portray yourself in public,
wow,
your work
based.
ethic, etc. So, you know.
Man, she's so based. All I can focus on is the giant monkey staring at me in the face. What the? And then she does it with the Charlie Kirk shirt on. Oh my God. And this is what Beardson said. Atlas Thug talked about this a little bit, and I'm gonna agree. Debased, degenerate. If you're watching this regularly, there's probably something wrong with you. But points for savage trolling. Points for unashamed, unabashedly grifting and not caring and just standing on business, because everybody who's calling her out for this said, you're just showing your cooch. She knows it. She's open about it. She says, yeah, I'm the cooter queen. I'm cooter maxing. She's the coochie conservative. And she's proud of it. And she's wearing a freedom shirt from Charlie Kirk. And she does have an OnlyFans. It does have pornography on there. It's not just like her dancing in a bikini. She's got all of it, from what I read. And she's unashamed. She's living her best life. And she's loving the hate she's getting. Look at the gray sweatpant coochie action. Savage trolling. I respect the grift. I respect the unashamed, secure the bad queen. But no, this is degenerate. This is weird. This is not cool. And it's just a show of what's to come, because I'm not going to lie. I know the stats. I know Utah, where it's all highly religious Mormon people, has the highest consumption of pornography, the most paid subscribers and membership to pornography. And Utah was one of the first companies to enact a corn ban where you have to have ID and stuff and you have to get verified. A lot of the pornography companies, when Utah did that, said, we're not only are you not going to show your ID to come on our site, we're not even going to have our site in your state. That would be the big ones like CornTube and UCorn. They said, we're not even going to touch your state anymore if you're going to do this. There is no verification process. You're just not. If you live in, and I think it's the same thing now in Texas and other states, but Utah was the first one to do it, as far as if I remember right. But yeah, the Mormons, huge pornography consumption. There's a joke that the left makes that every time the right has like a convention, that the pornography use goes up or something like that. I don't know. That's a joke. I don't know if it's true, but statistically, I could see maybe guys on the right consume more corn, which is bad. So she knows what she's doing. How long is it till we got naked people straight up having sex while giving political opinions? And will guys watch it? I don't know. This is crazy, though. Look, she's talking about Miss Rachel.
Today we're learning about lesbians.
That's not Miss Rachel. That's
It's a man, baby! Can you say lesbian? Good job. Here are two lesbians.
Wearing the Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt is crazy. He would not have been happy about this. I looked up if she was AI, and now I have a Trojan virus. That's another point that I wanted to talk about. When I first saw this, I thought she was AI. And I'm still not totally convinced. I haven't seen any like sit-down interviews with her on real shows. I'm still not convinced that she's not AI. And I don't know this personally, but I've read on her OnlyFans, there's never any pictures of her with like her naked body and her, lower parts unclothed with her face in the shot. It's always like a back shot. Her face is never in the picture. This is what they said on X. Okay. I'm not paying for nobody's OnlyFans ever. But they're saying even her OnlyFans could be fake, or there could be a body double. There's like pictures from the neck down of her naked, but you never see her face in the picture. So it could be a body double. It could be an AI face, a deep fake face, or she could be totally fake. She has her old woman on the street videos. Maybe those were real, but now there's an AI model that's, just doing this. I don't know. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if anything's real nowadays. Count the toes on the right foot. There's 5. This foot almost looks like there's a 6 curled under here. Or you guys can't see what I'm looking at. Hold on. Ignore the monkey. Ignore the monkey. Try to ignore the monkey, guys. We're looking at the toes here, not the monk. This foot, there's 5 toes here. You can easily see 5 toenails. But then there's like a 6th. I mean, that could just be her foot curving out here. You guys can't see my cursor. Crap. But look to so on her left foot, which is on your right, you see 5 toenails, but then you see this like It looks like almost a 6 pinky toe is curled under, but that could just be the side of her foot. Yeah, we do got to look at the fingers and the feet. Look at this. Look at her pinky right here. You can't see it. Don't ignore the monk. Guys, look at her pinky right here. I don't know. I'm counting toes. Toes are always doing something weird. Look again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's like an extra. There's like some extra pinky toe under action over here. But I guess her feet are just like that. I don't know, guys. What do you think? She might be AI. But anyway, hold on. We're not done yet. The memes. Worst case scenario, we get a funny story and we get some good memes out of this. Well, actually, worst case scenario, all the conservative men slip back into depravity. We lose our grip we have on the culture, and we just become a bunch of degenerate coomers like the left. That's worst case scenario, which looks like it's where we're going. But best case scenario, we get some good memes out of it. Let's see what's Trump got to say.
Strait. I control the strait, and quite frankly, we have to prevent them from getting a nuclear weapon, which we did last year, totally obliterated it, but it's like an annual subscription of some sort. They're begging for a deal, even though they bombed our bases last night. Iran doesn't control the strait.
I control the strait. Look at and we got some guys taking to the airwaves saying that two can play at this game. Our boy Elijah Schaefer.
Fauci trial today. What a joke that is. It's like he was already pardoned from Trump. And it's like, you know, he just pleads the fifth at every moment that he can. And he does it because the Republicans, they're just stupid at this point. It's like he can't go to jail for anything he's done. And then he doesn't have to say anything by law. So he can just plead the fifth. And then all of a sudden, he's like, oh, well, I just won't say anything and they can't get me on anything new. Republicans put on these show trials and everyone's like, you know, Dr. Fauci's on trial today. Really? It's like, really? He is?
He's like scratching his balls while he's doing it.
Really care about that because everyone knows, as always happens, nothing ever does. It makes me so mad that people just can't take the system more seriously. Why don't you get serious about politics and realize that the future is different? The future is us. And before you go judging people, remember the average person didn't even know that the Fauci trials were happening until today. Why? Well, because the youth like us are going to be the future voice of America, and we're the ones who are going to take things where it needs to go. Tune into my show this Friday at 6 p.m. Central to watch more hard-hitting takes like this. And if you want exclusive content, you can get it on my locals at elijahschaefer.locals.com.
Savage. So that's the Cooter Queen. I don't have much else for that. I don't know what else to say. What is happening? What is happening? You can't be surprised. You know, especially if the right is a bunch of incels like they say. You know, a lot of guys are going to watch that chick, and they are. That's why everybody's talking about her. That's why she's so popular. Well, that's enough internet for today. Some coochie conservative government plant. Well, there's also theories that she's an Israel plant, but they say that about everybody. Shoot, people say that about me. I still haven't got my $7,000. Lust is a sneaky demon. This is true. This is true. All right. So the Rex Jones debate probably just ended. And we're going to watch that here in a minute. But first, we got to do reels and rapid fire. I don't have any good reels. I don't have many good shorts or reels this week, but we got rapid fire news. As soon as I can find it. Bookmarks. This one. All right, we got an update on hopefully the Instagram ones play. I have to be careful about these TMZ ones because they have weird ads sometimes. All right. All right. Let's get into the rapid fire news. Now I want Arby's. Oh, God. Now I want Arby's for dinner. I don't get it. I don't watch corn. Never was into it. Yeah. Yeah, it's not, well. Yeah. I don't want to. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah, especially if you know what I don't understand is guys that are married. I guess if you're in like a sexless marriage or you've been married forever, maybe that's why they do it. But I'll never understand guys that are married and are still watching corn. I don't know why I'm saying corn. I don't guys that are married and have like a porn habit is weird to me. It's like just lay some D to your wife. You know? Extra stop. You guys are gross. Like I can understand if you're I mean, I'm not justifying it, but if a guy's like lonely, you know, but if you're married, I don't get it. It's still not good regardless, but it just makes more sense. You're cheating on your wife. Exactly why. I'm single and celibate and still do not watch it or need it. Nice. Yeah, it's weird. All right, rapid fire news. We got some updates on our favorite Maine Democratic candidate here. This is actually an old story. 17th of July. Wait. Oh, we're in August now. That's right. This is from a couple weeks ago, but we covered this last week, but I had just got back from DebateCon, so I didn't really put much of a show together last week. This should have been in there. Transgender Maine Democrat from Breitbart. Transgender Maine Democrat Senate candidate claims he has monthly period through his rectum. Rectum damn near killed him. A transgender activist running to replace scandal-plagued Graham Plattner once reportedly claimed in a Reddit post that he has a monthly she has a monthly period and that the blood comes through his rectum. Oh my God. And this person's running for government. This is that strong, bold, beautiful woman. Ashley Webb is one of several Democrat candidates in Maine running to replace Plattner. Let's see. He just wants to use the bathroom. If they want me to use the men's room, I will. But I don't want to be assaulted. You're bigger than all the men in there, Ashley. Reddit post revealed the extent of Webb's gender dysphoria, reportedly writing under the username Sparky603. Webb initially announced his run for Senate last week. I'm a trans and intersex woman from Farmington, and I'm running the whole campaign myself. I can tell. Candidate and treasurer both. No big, well, it's not hard to be a treasurer when you're broke. No big donors. No machine behind me. He appeared to write. I love how Breitbart doesn't acknowledge the pronouns. Asking for signatures from registered Democrats across the state. Anyway, they said on Reddit, when you don't have the proper hole, it finds one of two exits. The guy in China was lucky and the exit was his bladder. Me, on the other hand, not so lucky. My exit connection was made with my colon. Because when I get this monthly pain, that is where the blood comes out. Intersex like us don't get diagnosed till our 20s, as we tend not to be born with extra holes. I didn't get diagnosed in my 20s because I was dealing with incompetent doctors who preferred to prescribe opiate painkillers rather than find the problem. So is Ashley saying that he's actually scientifically one of the super anomalous intersex people that actually has a real female eggs and has a period, but doesn't have a hole for the eggs to come. So is this real? That's not a real thing. I don't think that's a real thing. Okay, dude, chill. What do you call a dog with metal nuts? Sparky. Okay. All right. Yes, Arby's does have a good French dip with that au jus. All right, moving on. Enough of this. California therapist, 26 years old, allegedly groomed and raped teen after he left juvenile hall where she worked. A California clinician is facing felony charges after she allegedly... We got a lot of weird cess stuff in the news this week, by the way, guys. From people running for Senate who have periods out of their bunghole to women therapists who grape their juvenile delinquent teen patients. Shocker. And she's kind of cute. Shoo. If you were my therapist when I was in juvie, shoo. California clinician is facing felony charges after she allegedly groomed a teenage boy from the age of 14. I mean, how much grooming does it take to convince a 14-year-old to have sex with a 26-year-old therapist who isn't ugly? I mean, you don't got to groom me that much. I would have done it. Just ask. Oh, man. I'm thinking maybe try a sandwich for breakfast. Can't go. Okay. Bay Area prosecutors on Monday hit former behavioral health clinician Sophia Drotz, 26, of San Francisco, with shocking charges, including unlawful sexual intercourse in connection with the case. The mother of the victim, who has not been identified, said Drotz betrayed her family. We trusted this professional with our son's healing. Our focus is now entirely on our son's recovery and protection. Yeah, we'll just find him another therapist. I'm sure that'll help. Drotz was employed at John A. Davis Juvenile Hall in Martinez, where she was assigned the 17-year-old victim as her client. Is there a video on this? We're still playing ads. Ads are still playing. Yeah, she kind of cute. Shoot. Oh, I missed one of my Coochie Girl shorts. It was AOC and Kamala AI on the couch. I wonder what happened to that. I had one more. It was AOC and Kamala sitting on a couch doing the Coochie conservative girl thing. Anyway, this video is not related to the story, but that's an interesting story. I don't know if this is real, but it's funny. From groipernews.tv. Probably not real, probably not true. But if it is, that would be hilarious. GTA 6 will reportedly give Nick Fuentes his own America First radio station that only plays his live streams. I don't know if this is true, but it would be funny. I don't think the modern writing team at GTA, all the liberal women who are putting together Grand Theft Auto 6, I don't think they would allow this. But old school GTA, this would be something they would do. Just put the most controversial person on a radio station. It would be so based. I don't think it's going to happen, though. What do you guys think? Real or fake? Can we fact check this? Probably fake. We got more weird cess stuff. Has anybody heard this story? This is the thirst stream. We're doing a thirst stream today from TMZ. This girl is a corn star who got brain damage from a surgery or something in rehab for ketamine. She was in rehab for ketamine, which ketamine is now being popularized and promoted as a cure for depression. You go into a doctor's office, they intravenously, okay, so you're getting slammed with ketamine. They slam you with ketamine, meaning mainline. Smack it up, strap it up, bam, right mainline that bitch. Ketamine right into your arm at a doctor's office for your depression. And then you end up getting addicted to ketamine. Shocker, they said that will never happen. You're a fucking retard. Yeah, it's going to happen. You will get addicted to ketamine. I don't care if they say it's not addictive. If you're slamming, you get addicted to the needle. If you're slamming ketamine at a doctor's office, yeah, you'll get addicted. Then when you go to rehab to get treated for your ketamine addiction, you get brain damage. And now this porn star who is under the conservatorship of her mom now because she's brain damaged. She's like Britney Spears. She's not really an adult anymore. This porn star gets addicted to ketamine, goes to rehab, gets brain damage. Now the family sues the rehab, and they're going to get $3 million for it. And this is like, the narrow path, living life the right way, doing the right thing, usually doesn't pay off big. In fact, you might be hated and persecuted like Jesus said. But if you want to be a ketamine-addicted porn star and become mentally retarded in rehab, you get $3 million. What the fuck? How do I... Wait a second. Is this the meta? Can I do this? I'm just kidding. I don't want to get addicted to ketamine and become mentally retarded for $3 million. I don't think it's worth it. But the family's loving life right now. Emily Willis' family has reached a $3 million settlement from the Malibu rehab facility. Hold on. Let's read this again. Emily Willis' family has reached a $3 million settlement from the Malibu rehab facility where the former adult film star, okay, we know what that means, 304, suffered catastrophic brain damage and was left permanently disabled. She's so pretty. Now she's mentally handicapped because she got addicted to ketamine and went to rehab, and her parents get $3 million. Williams' mom and legal guardian, Yesenia Cooper, sued Malibu Lighthouse Treatment in 2024, claiming the facility failed to properly care for Emily while she was being treated for ketamine addiction at Summit Malibu earlier that year. Okay. First off, how do you get addicted to ketamine? Well, you read online that there's a wellness clinic where they're treating depression with microdoses of ketamine. And then pretty soon you're getting slammed with ketamine by a doctor for your depression. Now you're addicted to ketamine. A dissociative basically makes you not in this world. You're walking around, floating around in another plane of existence. You get addicted. You go to rehab. How were they treating her ketamine addiction in rehab in a way that led to mental retardation? A lobotomy? Did they give her a lobotomy to solve her ketamine addiction? What happened? According to court docs, Emily is expected to receive approximately $1.25 million after attorney's fees. It was a $3 million settlement. Her family's going to get $1.25 million. She's under conservatorship of her mother, which means her mom basically runs her life. She's an adult, but now she's got the brain of a child. And her mom's going to get all this money. Crazy. The defendants denied wrongdoing and did not admit liability. Lawsuit alleged Emily's health rapidly declined after she checked into a facility in 2024, leaving her frail, disoriented, dehydrated, and unable to properly walk, eat, or care for herself. Doc said Emily was found unconscious the following month. Paramedics performed CPR for 30 to 40 minutes before restoring her heartbeat. Prolonged lack of oxygen allegedly caused irreversible brain damage. So it wasn't something that they did in the treatment that caused her brain damage. It was because she went unconscious for 40 minutes and her brain had no oxygen. She comes out. Now she's basically brain dead. And her mom has to take care of her for the rest of her life. For what? TMZ broke the story. Emily was rushed to Los Angeles hospital after suffering cardiac arrest, remained in critical condition. Toxicology report found no drugs in her system. She was one of the adult industry's biggest stars and one performer of the year. Later transitioned into mainstream acting, appearing in the sci-fi film Divinity. Well, and here's the crazy part. I would not be surprised if her crazy mom got her jobs, because there's some weird sickos out there that would probably love to watch a brain dead Emily Willis on screen, if you know what I'm saying. There's some weirdos out there. Wild story. Don't do ketamine, kids. Even if they say it'll fix your depression, it's not going to work. And I know if you're a corn star, you're probably very depressed, and ketamine is a good escape. It's not a good escape. It's a bad escape. It's an effective escape. It's not good. Yeah, you're going to end up brain damaged. But hey, your mom will be rich. Crazy. That's wild. This chick was on whatever. Was she? She's cute. She looks like the Latina girl that I used to work with that I told you guys I had a crush on. This girl looks a lot like her. That's what the girl I worked with looked like. Pale, but also ethnic. I like it. Shoot, now that Emily's... Never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. Oh, man. Not going to make that one. What else we got? We got updates on Shiloh Hendricks. I could have talked about this last week. But again, I didn't have a lot of prep time. I got home Monday, went to bed, and then did the show. So we had the Shiloh Hendricks case. This is the girl who made us all want to go to the playground and start yelling slurs at children because it's a fast track to $1 million. At least that was my plan. Once I saw this and I saw how much money she made, I was just going to go on a playground tour and yell at all the little ethnic children. Trying to get paid, my boy. But she was found guilty. A woman who called a black autistic... Oh, now he's autistic. Oh, my God. That's not autistic. That's just Somalian. A woman who called a black autistic child a racial slur last year has been found guilty of one count of disorderly conduct and not guilty on another. Disorderly conduct, I think it's a misdemeanor, but the incident... But they may seize all of the funds that she got. She got something like $400K to her GoFundMe or whatever within like a month. They may take all that money, which would suck because she legit needed a chunk of money just to hide out, just to find a new place to live and hide out. Was caught on video by a bystander, went viral. Shiloh Hendricks called an 8-year-old boy the N-word after he allegedly reached into her diaper bag and took an item. She then began cussing at the bystander, who is black, hurling the N-word at him as well. So you're not allowed to say the N-word. Sentenced immediately following the verdict being read. She was ordered to pay a $1,000 fine, placed on probation in order to complete community service. She additionally faced up to 90 days in jail, so no jail time unless probation is broken. 90 days of probation, a $1,000 fine is not bad, but it's the principle. At least they're not like burying her under the jail, but it's the principle of the thing. So you really don't have the freedom of speech when it comes to white people versus black people, and certain words that if they would have called her a cracker, probably nothing would have happened. Disorderly for words, yeah. But what I'm curious about is if she's going to get her money taken. She did not take the stand. After the video of hurling racial slurs, she claimed she had been doxxed and threatened and launched an online fundraising campaign. The campaign has raised close to $900,000. I'm not seeing anything in here about her having to give that up. Shortly after the incident, the Rochester branch of the NAACP set up a fundraiser to help the family, raising more than $330,000, which is now a trust for the child. That's some fraud money going to some. And the guy was allegedly a sexual deviant. They send a kid, and then I saw a video, an AI video, and it was like, this is what really happened. They sent the kid over there. There's these Somalian guys. They send the kid over there to reach in the purse, and when she reacts, they surround her with cameras and record her and start provoking her. She says a racial slur, they get $330,000. The only good side of this is that she also got paid, and she got paid 3 times as much as they did. So as long as she gets to keep that money. No reason she should have to give it back. I agree. But, you know, the way our justice system works, who knows? She has filed an appeal. That's the newest news. I think this is from yesterday. This is from a couple days ago. She has filed an appeal. She's pretty too, little Aryan princess. Not quite Aryan. Her eyes aren't blue.
The woman at the center of a viral video calling a black child a racial slur at a Rochester park will reportedly be appealing her conviction. Last week, an Olmsted County jury found Shiloh Hendricks guilty of disorderly conduct.
Yeah, she's cute. Is she single?
Against the man who recorded that incident. The jury acquitted her of disorderly conduct.
She's aight. And she's rich. Not rich. She's got $900,000 for saying a racial slur at the park. Guys, we going to the park. We about to start a park tour. You heard of parkour? I'm doing a park tour. And I'm looking for all the ethnic children. I'm about to be rich, my boy.
Conduct against the child. Following the guilty verdict, her defense attorney saying he felt there were several unfair decisions in the ruling made over the course of the trial. A court date for the appeal
Why does her lawyer look like Zach Galifianakis?
Has not been set.
All right, but she's filing an appeal. That's the new news. She found guilty. A court date for her appeal has not been set. But, you know, it's possible she can appeal this with all the, you know, outrage. Challenge it. Run it up the pole. This is free speech. This should not hold up. And she's going to keep that $900,000. Sure, the other family gets $330,000 for being, you know, likely sexual deviants and illegal immigrants, but let them have their money. She gets more money. Here's the meme. Now, this is the last thing about Shiloh Hendricks. So I saw this account and it said this account right here, Shiloh Hendricks. I saw this account on my feed on X and it said, I'll be going live tonight to talk about all of this for the first time since the gag order is over. And I was going to watch it, or not a live, but a space. And it said, I don't know who's going to show up, but I'm doing a space tonight that the gag order's lifted, and I'm going to talk about all this. When people showed up to the live of this Shiloh Hendricks X page, this is what they were greeted with.
Got hey, hey, hey. You're so mad. You're so mad. You can't do nothing about. Hey, I'm about to use my favorite line. I didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. I didn't do nothing.
Now, you guys might be like, what is JS showing us right now? The Shiloh Hendricks account that people were sending money to and that went on the X space to hear Shiloh Hendricks address all of this since the gag order was lifted. That whole account was being run by this guy, and people were sending him money. This has happened multiple times, too. I sent Easy a story just like this a while ago and told him you should do a Goofy of the Day on this guy. It was this black guy that made a token black conservative MAGA page. He got all the black conservative talking points that, you know, Brandon Tatum and all those guys do. He did all those talking points. He got all this money donated to him because conservatives love when there's a token black to say the things they can't say. And then after he made a bunch of money, he did a live and he comes out and he says, by the way, I hate Trump. I'm not MAGA. This was all a trick and you fell for it. And you sent me your money. Same situation here. This Shiloh Hendricks account that conservatives were sending money to. Now, this is not the This is not the $900,000 GoFundMe. That was real. But this is an X account that people were sending money to. And he scammed all the MAGA people.
Nothing, didn't do. Look at all them followers I got. That's crazy. Like, why y'all? Hey, they deserve it. Hey, if you gonna be dumb as shit with your money, you deserve it. You deserve it. Hey, hey, that's on y'all. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Hey, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Boy, woke up this morning with me, had me a good old breakfast. Courtesy of the white man. You finally did something for me. Yo.
Whatever, man. I respect the grift. Freddie said, I'm taking notes. He's going to run a scam next. Guys, don't be sending your money to random accounts on the internet. It's not smart. This is what you're funding. But I kind of respect the hustle. I think it's funny. If you were dumb enough to fall for this, actually, and honestly, for all the people that sent her $900,000, you're not that smart either. I didn't send her $1. Sorry. I understand, yes, she needs some money to find a new house and to hide from all the people who hate her. And if maybe a couple big donors want to help her out, I get it. But all these people sending her $900,000 because she said the N-word in a park and the justice system is coming after her. Stop sending. What are you doing? Send me your money. Don't send it to her. What are you doing? I can say that. No, I'm not gonna. Will you send me money if I say that word? I'm just kidding. I'm not going to say it. Crazy. Got him. Got him. Oh, boy. Anyway. What else we got? Okay, now we got some local news. Okay. This is hold on. Let me see if I thought I had the news story of this. I do somewhere. Hold on one second. Before I play the video. Anyway, there was a shooting at Liberty Park this weekend, which is the park real close to me. It's where I have videos from there where I was flying the drone at that one day. They do Scum Circle every Sunday where all the scum gather together and dance around, women with their tops off and children running around high on acid. There's always fights, stabbings. Well, this past weekend, there was a shooting. This is some video from it. This is for news purposes. This is not live video, any weapons or anything. This is only for news commentary purposes, education, entertainment. This is not live video. This is from SLC Scoop on Instagram, a video of the cops' response this weekend at the park. But I want you guys to notice in this video, who do you see? You can't see my cursor, but who do you see standing behind the police officer? Is that familiar? We know that guy. Look at the guy with his hands up, where the cops are running over here and this guy has his hands up. Look at that. Who's that? Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember this video?
Judge, that tyrant said it wasn't rape. That's the legal definition of rape. You guys are a bunch of liars. You're a bunch of tyrants, and God's about to burn you. No, I'm not going to calm down. You're using violence of the state against children of God, and you're going to burn for it. You better repent or you're going to burn. God's going to burn your soul. God's law is judge not. God's law is judge not, is forgive your neighbors.
What about a righteous man judges all, but is judged by none?
You're filled with hatred for
What
your
about a
neighbors.
righteous
You're
man
filled
judges
with
all, but is
hatred
judged
for
by
your
none?
neighbors.
I wouldn't
You're filled with
recommend-
hatred and fear. You're filled with hatred. It's fear and anger that consumes you. That's why you vote for a
I was so close to punching this guy in the face.
bully. You're and why not? You're
You need to calm down,
obviously
Batman.
illogical.
Batman, you need to calm down.
Batman, I need to calm down.
Calm down, Batman.
I don't like bullies. I don't like fascists.
I'm not a bully.
You
I'm
are.
nice
You're
guy.
a fascist.
I'm a nice guy.
No.
You're shaking. Your mouth is quivering.
You're a fascist.
Calm down.
You're
I'm not a
literally.
fascist.
You're as bad as the Nazis.
And when
you're as bad as the
this-
Nazis.
this
You're literally
dialogue-
as bad. Like it's just like they did the
this
Jews.
dialogue
You're
right
doing
here
to
is-
the you're doing to the Latinos. You're doing to the immigrants. Is what
This
you're
dialogue
doing.
right
You are
here is
supporting
why
state
people get shot.
nonsense. No. What you do is why people get shot. What you do, you use violence.
I'm here to
use
enjoy.
violence.
Do you see this?
You use violence.
Do you see this?
You use violence.
You
You're
are
gonna
doing
reap what you
exactly what I
sow.
want you
You're
to
going
do.
to reap what you sow.
You are doing exactly what I want you to do.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to act like you're acting right now and put it on
To
display.
tell you that God's going to burn you? I am going to tell you. You better repent or God's going to burn you.
Step back.
God's going to burn your soul.
Okay.
Repent of your hatred in your heart. You are full of fear and anger and hatred.
So crazy Batman, spoiler alert, he's a crazy crackhead homeless guy. He only owns one pair of clothes. I always see him walking down when I'm on my way to work in the ballpark neighborhood, which is the druggie and prostitute area. I have to pass through there to get to work. I always see him walking around over there, probably looking to score a fix. Walking around wearing the same clothes. He only owns one pair of clothes. And this is the type of guy that goes to protests to be mad at fascists. This guy, this homeless dude who only owns one pair of clothes. He's obviously mentally ill. And look who's at the shooting at Liberty Park. Now, I don't know if he was involved in the shooting. He has his hands up. The cops aren't tackling him. But crazy that he would be at a shooting. There he is right there. You see him? You see the spray paint on the tree? These are like hippies who go to drum circles. It's supposed to be Mother Earth and climate change. They spray paint on the trees. They leave their trash there. They stab people. They shoot people every fucking weekend. The scum circle needs to be shut down. You losers need to find something better to do on a Sunday. Go to church. This is what they call church. They call this church. And the guy on the ground is the suspect. But apparently one person died in this shooting. Arresting the suspect, the suspected shooter. The suspected shooter is the guy on the ground. Batman over here, I think, is not involved. Or at least he saw it. Maybe he's called the cops or something. But crazy Batman strikes again. I just saw him walking down the street the other day. Every time I see him, I yell, Trump 2028. Crazy. Small world, small world. Anyway, let's move on. I do got one funny reel for us. Look at this savage little kid. This kid's epic.
But God has given me a power even stronger than the world.
He snapped it. Boom. Get it.
Get it. I need a... Come on, keep going.
Stop. Follow through, buddy. You can do it. He broke the brick.
The world may have power.
Kid's a savage. Needs to, I don't know, he needs a protein shake or something. One day you'll be able to break those sticks, little guy.
New details are emerging.
Okay, and then lastly, in rapid fire news, now this could be a whole story on its own. we could have done a whole segment on this, but I'm going to keep it quick because I do want to get to these debates. We only have an hour to go. I want to at least skim through the Alice one, and then I want to watch the Rex Jones one mostly. But in and out shooting at Twin Falls, Idaho. Twin Falls, Idaho is where I got in that car accident where my friends died in a car accident in Twin Falls. And then that's how I ended up in Salt Lake City, because we left Twin Falls to come to Salt Lake City because one of the guys got life flighted to Salt Lake City Hospital because he had brain bleeding, and they have a better thing for that in Salt Lake than they do in Idaho. So we left Twin Falls and came to Salt Lake, and then we ended up staying here for a while. And then that's how I met my ex-wife, and I ended up staying here. But anyway, Twin Falls, Idaho, there's a shooting at an In-N-Out. Again, this is from KVUE. This is news reporting. This is not live video. Anything shown in this video is strictly for news purposes and information and all of that.
Emerging from the deadly shooting rampage at an In-N-Out restaurant in Idaho. Police say a Good Samaritan and an officer.
If of all the places you're going to go and have a pew-pew event, In-N-Out? What a crazy choice to run up on an In-N-Out.
Duty officer returned fire.
Now, this guy is an off-duty officer. This is not the shooter. This is a good guy with a gun returning fire. But we'll see the shooter here in a second.
Fire on the suspect distracting the gunman. 3 people were killed and 7 others were injured before the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Here's ABC's Hannah Battah.
Crazy. 3 dead and 7 injured. If I'm correct, this is the bystander. This is not the shooter. The shooter is using a long gun. This guy, I think they said it's an automatic pistol. Really long barrel on that pistol. I don't know if he's got a silencer on it or what.
He's the man seen in this video, returning fire as a gunman carried out a shooting rampage outside an In-N-Out restaurant in Twin Falls, Idaho.
Everybody's running.
35-year-old Jordan Salinas tells the Idaho Statesman he had just pulled into the parking lot when he heard gunfire. He says he drew his semi-automatic pistol and
Oh, semi-automatic pistol. Okay. So basically a normal pistol, I guess.
The suspect lifted a rifle to his shoulder and fired.
So here's the suspect. I guess he's just like walking through the parking. He killed 3 people and injured 7 at an In-N-Out. But then the Good Samaritan and a police officer returned fire, and he runs to his car, and then he takes his own life.
Fire toward cars. That's when Salinas began firing. Police say an off-duty policeman at the scene also returned fire.
These people are true heroes in our community, and their actions diverted the shooter and no doubt saved many lives.
Police say the shooter...
Well, it's nice that they're actually airing the story about the good guy with the gun. Like with the Stephen Williford church shooting, Stephen Williford was not the shooter. He was the guy that stopped the shooter. Good guy with a gun situation that they pretty much buried. One of actually the worst mass shooting in Texas history was this church shooting. Multiple churches, actually. He went from church to church. I forget the shooter's name. I watched a documentary on him not too long ago. But Stephen Williford was the good guy with the gun who stopped him. And they kind of buried that story. They don't like the good guy with the gun stories because it disproves their whole narrative that the guns are the problem.
Identified as 24-year-old Chad Williams, killed 3 people and injured 7 others before taking his own life.
Call the police.
What's happening? What's happening?
What happened?
What's happening?
Lindsay Tangai heard the shots.
It was just mass chaos. The attention was everybody running from in and out.
She found several victims, including her friend Terry Dudley, a taxi driver who was shot in his car.
And so I walked over and Terry...
Did he die?
He was in his front seat, still conscious at the moment, but not really able to communicate.
That In-N-Out opened just days ago, drawing massive crowds. The company says one of its employees is among...
Dude, In-N-Out will have lines wrapped around the dang whole Best Buy parking lot. Have you ever seen this? An In-N-Out? It'll be like in a shopping strip, like with a Best Buy and an Office Depot or whatever the heck they have in there. An Ulta and an In-N-Out. And the freaking line will wrap into the other parking lots and just wrap around for days. And they got people walking out to your cars. So what's it called? High density target area at the In-N-Out. Crazy, but I don't know. I part of me is like, is this the best way that this ends when the person offs themselves? I don't know. I would rather he end up in jail and get tried and then get the death penalty and then we execute him. But then at least you get a chance to get an interview to do some profile building, learn, try to get inside this guy's head and figure out why people do this. But when they take their own lives every time, you don't get to. And then a lot of them, even if they do get caught, they just never say anything. They don't talk. But there are a lot of them who do get caught, and we know about their prison experience, and they do interviews, and you can kind of get an idea of how these people think. But it's crazy. Twin Falls, Idaho. See, he just shot into the window of this car. I don't even know if anybody's in that car.
Three people are dead, including a gunman, after he opened fire near an In-N-Out burger in Idaho, USA, on Saturday, August 1st, sending panicked customers running for their lives.
What is happening?
What's happening?
People are running from In-N-Out. Call the police?
What's happening? What's happening?
What happened?
What's happening?
Shoot, go.
The carnage began inside the
shoot
burger joint in Twin Falls around 2 p.m.
There is an Ulta there. Did you see? There's a Petco and an Ulta. I should have said Petco. Petco, Ulta, and Best Buy. There's an Ulta there.
Time before spilling into a parking lot and surrounding areas, in clear view of witnesses who recorded the harrowing scene.
Oh, dude, they shooting up.
Hell yeah.
What the You got an AK?
Oh, hell yeah, he does. Look at this wacky mother. He got serious. Oh, now he's getting a mother. Oh.
You grabbing another gun.
Oh, yeah.
You grabbing something bigger.
We're getting the out of here.
We did see some commotion, but there's employees everywhere. But we did see a couple kids running, and then all of a sudden we saw all the employees and people crying, running towards the ICCU bank. We don't know.
Crazy. That's wild. I wonder what the total time of the event was that he killed 3 people and injured 7. But I mean, I guess at least the officer and the civilian who returned fire made him retreat to his car and give up, or it could have been much worse. It's wild. You don't usually see them in like outdoor, like running through parking lots outside and stuff. They usually are trying to get inside a building, like a school or a Walmart or something, but he's just running around in the parking lot. Packed parking lot. It's In-N-Out. Crazy. Wild story. But with that said, that's it for the rapid fire news. Main news is over. We got one thing left on the docket. I only have an hour-ish, so we're going to have to do this quickly. We're going to review some of the ward war debates, and then as they come out in the morning, I'm going to review them. We got to stay up on the competition. We're going to skim through this Alish one.
I'm a little bit confused.
This looks not, I don't really care to, I mean, I'll probably listen to it when I'm at work, but I don't really care to sit and react to all of this with you guys. This is Alish. She's a girl that's banned on Rob's stream because she's basically happy Charlie Kirk got shot. And she encourages this sort of political violence, which if she goes against me, I'm going to say something like that during the debate. I don't care if it's a fallacy. That's just for optics. You gotta destroy these people. But this girl may be actual competition in this tournament because she's got DGG, erudite, she's got all the lefties behind her. She's really their like powerhouse in this debate league. And then I guess maybe Erudite's husband, she can get people to support him. But really Alish is the biggest threat from the left on the Contender Series. This is the best they got, guys. This is the best they got. But the guy she's debating, he seems like a cool guy. I think he's actually doing a debate on Easy's channel, maybe. I'm not sure. He seems all right, but he seems new to debating, a little uncomfortable, maybe a little nervous. But this is masculinity in crisis. So I'm not sure who they're
in a crisis. Yes. Now, how did I reach this conclusion? Problem solving. The crisis is forced masculism, and the problem is toxic masculinity. While the cure is sway masculism, and the solution is gentle masculinity. Now, by asking the correct
what is he saying?
Questions how and why masculinity is in a crisis, a truly pure answer may be established for what is a crisis of unstableness in criticalness through statelessness by failure due to a error that causes uncivilness that lead to destruction's effect that demands urgency's required action to avoid uncivil destruct.
This is like a crazy long run-on sentence, and I really don't know what he's saying.
By suffering and death to one and to all, uncivilized destruction. Now, to prove masculinity even exists, an ideal masculinity comes from a real masculism belief, a form creation of state sex and being gender through design environment, by nature's reflection within.
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't know what he's saying. Like the way his sentences are formed, it's like there's 20 commas. The sentence just never ends, and I don't.
Masculinity, faith, a form intent of expected union and hope desire through ideas blueprint by reality structure, through reality's inner heart. And
I never said guns should be banned. I said crazy people who show signs that they're going to shoot up a school shouldn't be allowed to buy guns. And demon worshiping atheists and psychotic Democrats with purple hair.
Outer mind. Masculine works, a frame formed time of power, space, and strength matter through physical.
All right, bud. I can tell you're new to this. Good job on stepping in the arena. I respect it. You got some work to do, though. You know, I don't know if this is our guy. Now let's see what Alish has to say, and then we're gonna get off. We'll skip a little round, but we're gonna watch the Rex Jones one. I'm more interested in that.
Depending upon current trends. Masculinity is a subjective term, meaning that its definition has always been based on societal constructs. Men in early antiquity wore very elaborate clothing and were highly concerned about their personal appearance. The idea of high style or peak masculinity was aristocratic, meaning that the more attractive a man was in his clothing, meant he was considered more masculine. Early men wore high heels.
Spoiler alert. A lot of men still like to wear suits and look nice. Shocker.
Based off of Persian riding shoes in today's standard.
We just don't have to freaking trim our eyebrows and put makeup on. Clavicular. I just have to put on a suit. I don't have to put on makeup and freaking bone smash.
These are considered unmasculine. The emotional standards of masculinity are dishonest as it precludes the fact that anger and aggression are an emotion. Stoicism, which most men would consider masculine, is dysregulation.
I hope he points to like red pill degeneracy, and even the red pill polygamists and the lack of birth rate decline, the freaking young men not having sex or getting married until much older. And the having sex thing, you could be like, whoa, that's a good thing. They're waiting until they're married. Not really. That's not what it is. It's that they're not getting out and talking to people. They're scared to talk to girls anymore. So they don't get a girlfriend until they're 23 years old. They don't have sex or get married until they're 25. Is that better than a bunch of promiscuous 17-year-olds having sex? Yes. But is it better than young people getting married at 18 and having sex when they're married? No.
It is as having emotions is a natural response, and being able to express.
And he could point to people like Clavicular as an example of how masculinity is in crisis.
Express them in a healthy way is a sign of better adaptability.
Oh, this lady, I was saying, I bet she was happy about Charlie, but also wants gun ban. Yeah, probably. Yep.
Other cultures have very different views of masculinity as well. Thailand, for example, has a very loose idea of what defines a man and gender fluidity in general. Where there is no standard for masculinity.
Look at that shirt. Just, God, people don't care about themselves.
No written book or natural order to fulfill when it comes to what makes a man, meaning that outside of biological physicality, masculinity.
Biological physicality? Is that a word?
Can really apply.
That's bloviating.
To anything that you really want it to be. Kind of short and sweet.
Well, that's
kind of short and sweet. I had a 5-minute intro to write, and I couldn't do it.
Incredibly efficient, and you've shocked me with the efficiency. I appreciate that.
Efficiency, meaning you couldn't think of enough to fill 5 minutes, is not efficiency. If you have a 5-minute opening in a debate, you can't fill 5 minutes. That's not efficiency. That's lack of preparation.
Appreciate that. And the next part of the debate or the conversation is going to be we're going to have,
especially with this word war format, you need to use your full 5 minutes because you only get 5 minutes each on the intro, and then you only do 15 minutes of back and forth, and then it breaks, and then you do 10 minutes of crossfire questions from the moderator, and then you can ask each other questions during that time if you want also. But it's like, so you back and forth for 15 minutes and then it stops. 15 minutes for back and forth in a debate is not a long time. It goes by before you even know. So before you even hit all my points, time's up. Question time. Then we do questions where I can't control the conversation really. Then we go back to 15 minutes of back and forth again. So it's only 30 minutes of open dialogue, and it's interrupted in the middle. So it's 15 and 15, which you need to take full advantage of your 5-minute opening uninterrupted. You need to take full advantage of your closing. Because the format is odd. It's interesting. I'm not mad at it, but it feels too short. Like when I was at the end, I was like, man, I don't even feel like we had enough time. I did so much research. I had pages and pages of stuff to talk about. And I didn't have time to talk about hardly anything. Most of it. I couldn't really hit on my points. I do have one clippable moment in mind. You'll see when we're talking about kids on Ritalin. And he's like, where's your evidence that there's too many kids on Ritalin? I said, one kid on Ritalin is too much. It's prescription meth. Little boys should not be taking it.
Have just an opening. We're going to cut to a quick video from our sponsors. Wise Wolf Gold.
As men, strength, physicality, or more so of a way of more of a physical type of work that is masculine. But then also knowing that we are basically biology DNA twice as strong as a woman. So we're basically born into the situation unlike a woman who has to be feminine. Because a woman is born into this world, it doesn't have.
All right, guys, I'll listen to this later. This is not on my list of ones that I really want to review, but I want to watch this one because I did not even realize that this is Alex Jones's son. So that's pretty wild. And he's got the professional studio. Pisco. Is that Pisco? Is that Pisco? He looks different if it is. Is the moderator, I guess?
In between those is going to be a 10-minute kind of moderator-run segment as well. And so whenever we get started, it'll be Rex first, and followed by Mariah on openings, and then it'll be the open debate as soon as you get going, and I'm ready for you.
I think it's very clear to the vast majority of Americans that there's a ruling class of our society, of our country, and, you know, it's not racially or ethnically based.
Are boomers responsible for today's economy? I'm going to assume that she is the, well, he's going first, so I guess he's the affirmative saying boomers are responsible. He's going to talk about wars and stuff and neocons who are in government and set us up for these forever wars and things like that.
It's not.
She's going to say Trump is responsible for the economy.
Not even, you know, gender based. It's age based, right? You have a period of time where people born between 1946 and 1964 experienced the largest explosion of wealth, social and economic mobility, everything stacked on top of that. And those are what we call colloquially the boomers now. And the boomers became the majority of the U.S. Senate in 2008, and they've held that majority for 18 straight years. In contrast to their parents, the greater generation, they peaked at 15 years, and those people retired in their 50s and 60s. Boomers refused to retire well into their 70s and 80s, and I can give you numerous examples. They first became the majority in the House back in 1998. And like I said, the silent generation peaked around 1989, 1991, but they never held power as long as the boomers had. Today in the Senate, boomers still make up 60 out of 99 senators. That's a clear majority. They only dropped below majority in the House recently, now at 39% with Gen X taking over. They have been the decisive median voting bloc for the past 30 years. They are responsible for ushering in all of our foreign policy and domestic policy that has led to deregulation and destruction of the younger generation. An argument I think that I might have to deal with today is the argument of, well, young people just don't know how to spend and save. They weren't as frugal as the boomer. They weren't as prepared. They didn't spend as much in stocks and whatnot. I would say to that, the boomer contributed to a large environment of destabilization and economic destruction leading through 2008, the dot-com.
Okay, I'm going 1.25. But if you're wondering why he sounds like he's talking like Destiny, it's because I sped it up.
Bubble, and even now today, where you look at things like the Iran-Ukraine war. War hawks are overwhelmingly senior citizens in our government, and they are representative by large of the boomer population that vote for them. The economic damage, when boomers took control of the Senate in 2008, the national debt was around 10 trillion. Today, it's over 38 trillion. Social Security and Medicare programs, myself as a 23-year-old, I know I'm never going to receive, even though I'm paying into them. The boomers are a big fan of this policy, and they vote to maintain it because it's the largest wealth transfer from the poorest segment of the population, the young people, to the richest segment of the population, the old people, basically in American or human history.
Crazy.
That's kind of the crux of the issue. That's kind of the crux of what's going on. We have a bunch of old people that are kind of grifting off of the rest of the people that have.
Dang, that is so true. I never even thought about that. It's the youngest people, the youngest, poorest people paying the richest, oldest people. Crazy.
To live in a much rougher world than what the old people originally had to endure. We're talking about people with $100 rent that are now wagging their finger in the face of people that are having to pay $2,000 to live. So the boomers have been largely responsible for the economic decline and destruction in the United States. We spent $10 trillion in war since Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, and now Iran. Overwhelmingly, people supporting those policies are the old people. That's my opening statement.
Thank you so much, Rex. Now up, Mariah.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for listening to this debate. So we face this proposition of a modern myth to claim that the baby boomer generation is uniquely responsible for our current
Oh, God, I can't.
economic reality. So to accept this premise is to completely misunderstand how global economics even function. So if we look at the logic of this argument specifically, to blame an entire demographic generation that is based off of something super complex, multi-trillion-dollar economic landscape of 2026, to blame the baby boomers solely is like kind of insane, because
That's a great argument. I like when you put an argument from incredulity in your opening statement. It's just insane to believe this.
be like blaming everybody with a smartphone about surveillance, about phone addictions. So it's completely absurd to blame one generation off a broken system. So every generation is born right into an active track that they did not build. No group of everyday citizens operate in a vacuum. Our economy is built and shaped up to systematic policies.
Hold on, maybe she's not as bad as it seems like if she's at regular speed.
Institutional frameworks, constitutional bodies, central banks, globalist forces, far larger than any single demographic could ever control. So I'm a Zennial. I'm right in between the cusp of Generation X and Millennials. So I'm the bridge generation. This is kind of based off astrology. And when we look at the...
Oh my God. It's based off of astrology, guys. Look at the stars. Get your crystals, ladies. Everybody grab a crystal.
Patterns of astrology, you start seeing why generations act as they do. And so I'm not here to defend the older generation out of blind.
Guys, if I'm making predictions right now, I think Alish, unfortunately, advances just because she's going to have a larger following of lefties. And that other guy, you could tell he was new and he was nervous and he's just not smooth with it yet. And she's got an audience. She's going to win. This one, I don't even need to watch all of this. We already know who's going to win this one. Like, come on. Come on. I still don't know how to vote yet. I got to check out where the links are to vote. Maybe they're in the description.
Nostalgia. I'm not here to say that they're to blame. I'm not trying to say that the younger generations are being whiny about it. But we need to look at like the whole system as a frame. It goes beyond just one generation or even our lifetime. So from the advantage point of being in the cusp, the media-driven generational gap is manufactured illusion. It's designed to keep the 99% divided. So I know that you talked about the great wealth transfer, right? The supposed 84 to 104 trillion dollar wealth transfer. Well, one, it's not all being siphoned. Some of it, yes. A lot of it, yes, being siphoned from the 99% to the 1%. But a lot of the baby boomers are aware of this. And so what they're doing is they're helping. Some of them are helping the younger generations by directly investing in their children and their grandchildren and thereafter, by helping them with a house, helping them with the first home, helping them with these student loans. Whereas during the housing crisis in 2008, again, a lot of things were siphoned, not just from the younger generations to the older generation, because still, when we look at the 1%, that is the oligarchy globalists that are constantly attacking the 99%, whether the generation be the oldest or the youngest, we're all still victim of the same system that is broken. So to talk about them being completely to blame, yes.
So I guess her rebuttal is it's not the boomers' fault, it's rich people's fault.
Yes, they are the ones that are in Senate. Yes, they are the ones in the policy-making chairs, but they, again, are being the puppets of yet a larger game. And so, if anything, I think we need to look at the baby boomers. They're our eldest. They're the ones that have lived the longest through all these economical changes. Yes, they were given maybe more privilege, but in a weird, like already structured system that is based off of the fourth turning generations, where you see the cycle, usually based off of Uranus, and where we see these line up, and it trickles down into not just like the globalists and how they play the game, but how we are the pawns in that game, not for just one generation, but for many. And this turns around again. And so I don't think they're to blame. I think we have a lot more class to look at age. And we need to start looking at fighting up, punching up, and not across, even when it comes to the generations.
Thank you so much, Mariah. We're almost ready to go and get started on the open debate. And debaters, thank you so much for your openings. We're just going to cut real quick to a video from our sponsor, Wise Wolf Gold.
Tonight's Contender Series is proudly brought to you by Wise Wolf Gold and Silver and Bitcoin. Wise Wolf helps individuals protect their wealth through precious metals and Bitcoin, giving people real alternatives outside. Wise Wolf.
All right, folks, welcome back. Now it's time for the open debate. You both are going to have 15 minutes to challenge each other and define your position. I'm going to try to get like as not involved as possible, just to help out when needed if you guys are talking over each other, things like that. So without further ado, let's get started. Rex, I know you wanted to say something.
Yeah. So Mariah, am I going to get Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all these things that I pay into that the older population is receiving right now and has voted for candidates that would protect it over our interests, the people that aren't ever going to get it? Am I ever going to get access to these social programs?
Probably not. But like, do you expect to? Okay. And it's not even
do you expect
the fact that like, everything.
I mean, isn't that the point? Yeah, I expect it. If I'm paying into it, I expect to reap the benefits. I didn't vote to pay into this freaking corrupt system. Socialist security.
Everything is changing. Everything is completely changing. And so the fact that you even want these programs and we expect them to still be there when they were started so many years ago, right? Everything is changing so fast. Of course not. We all have a social security number. You can actually look up your social security number, and with the right,
guys, I think this first round is gonna it might be rough. Once we get to 8 and 4, I think there will be much better debates, but this first round, you know, it's going to be some hit or miss action going on.
Bank of New York, the oldest bank that we have here, and you have the right routing information, you can find your own personal bank. We are constantly being stripped of everything that's ours as citizens of the United States.
Okay, but how is that relevant to the old people voting for the thing that we're not going to get as the young people and making us pay for it?
Well, okay, so why are you hanging on to an old system that's like breaking? Like that's kind of mine. Like, okay, yes, you want Medicaid? Do you want Medicaid? Like I go through life without health insurance. I don't buy into these systems that are the problem. So for me,
that's the only base thing she said so far.
I'm more about being a sovereign person, and that's kind of what the boomer generation. That's what they were born into. They were born.
Okay, let's just let Rex respond to that real quick.
Sovereign. So okay, why do you want it though? Like that's my question.
Why is Pisco says I'm not going to interrupt, and he's already interrupting.
You're not going to get it. We're not going to get it. Not just going to get those things. We're not going to get those things.
Let's just let Rex respond.
Yeah.
You're literally an older person telling me I'm not going to get these social programs.
Rex doesn't need you to hold his hand, Pisco. He's got this. Let the
programs, right? You're just saying, hey, well, you shouldn't get them anyway. You shouldn't be dependent on them. That's not the deal, right? When they took that money out of my paycheck.
It's so gone already.
Wait, just let him finish real quick.
That framework is already gone.
Just let him finish real quick, and we'll toss it back to you.
Rex,
yeah,
I'm working in a warehouse and I'm 15 years old doing pick and pack, and I get my first paycheck and it has Social Security taken out of it. Why am I not entitled to get that money back?
Well, you are entitled to if it's still there, but I don't. It's definitely not going to be. So why are you like
the boomer
wishing on a wish that it's not going to be there? But it's not the generation of the boomers to blame. They're part of the same system. They've been paying into it, and a lot of them have lost their 501. A lot of them have lost their pensions, especially during that 2008, 2009 housing crisis. Right? Everybody lost. Everybody was a victim. So those programs.
God, she is. Oh my God.
Are so outdated. Like, of course we're not going to get them, but it's not their fault.
I'm paying for that's my money. It's going to the old people. I'm never getting that program.
Well, the fact is that a lot of them died in our.
Her mic drowns his mic out when she's talking. She can talk over him, but he can't talk over her just because of his mic. He's getting mic mogged right now.
Dying. Okay, so it's just a system that is going away anyway, and I know it sucks. It sucks, but so does all the student loans.
See that? He gets mic mogged. He can't. She can cut in, and her mic. I hate when that happens with certain mics. It'll just you get drowned out.
That I paid into, and then
Rex, you had a question.
All those companies went away, and they just kept selling your debt, selling your debt. Right? Buy in and push out upon a star of an old system. Yeah, we've all paid into it.
Bro, she is tweaking.
Every single one of us. If we have a paycheck, we've paid into it. But you know that it's not going to be there because everything is changing so fast. And is that okay?
Like, is it like good at this?
Yeah. Rex, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to blame your grandma and your grandpa and your parents?
It's kind of like debating Marilyn. She's kind of like a older version of Marilyn.
Parents.
So Rex, why don't you pause real quick, debaters, Mariah, just one second. So why don't you respond to that first and then ask your question at the end for Mariah, okay?
Yeah, anyway, I got intended there, but yeah.
No, you're good. Okay, so you say that these are all old concepts, things that are going away, but we've paid into them, ma'am. Okay, we've paid into them our entire lives, and you tell the younger.
Still paid into a lie. Why?
Let him finish. Let him finish, please. Mariah, just let him get it all out.
I don't have a choice. It comes out of my paycheck, lady. What are you talking about? You don't have a job.
Direction here. Is war a concept that's going to go away? Because the old people who overwhelmingly vote for war and vote for us to go die over in the.
I wonder if I'm a sovereign. I wonder if she gets any sort of assistance or anything. But she's a sovereign.
Middle East and other places, those people, they make that decision. They're old. They don't have to fight. Just like they're old, they get the money that we pay into their system. We have to pay them, fight, and die for them. Do you not see that?
Oh, but you know what? They also had to do the exact same thing for their elder generation, right? These are the generation that went into Vietnam. A lot of them went to school. They're trying to go to law school because they were trying not to go to war. They were bred to be soldiers. The baby boomers were bred to be the next soldiers in between the wars.
Why do you disagree with that, Rex?
That militant war hawk mindset has contributed negatively to the past 30 years when they've been the dominant voting bloc in the United States.
Well, and why is okay? So they're using an old tactic called voting, and it's working for them. You know, whereas a lot of us younger generations are like, we don't even bother to vote, but then we bitch about who is in charge. And that's why I don't vote for a lot of different things, because I don't validate somebody and what their policies are. We don't have a lot of options. And so, one, you're bitching that they're
a lot of young people don't vote. That's why I don't vote for some things. Okay.
voting, but they're still the generation that's voting.
So can we pause real quick? So Rex, are you taking issue with the fact that they're voting or their choices?
Both as well.
So talk more about that.
They're overly represented. Like, that is the voting demographic. There are people that have been programmed by mass media. You know, Massey campaigned to, he said, please, Fox News only households, please vote for me. Who do you think those people are? Ed Gowron, the boomer that beat him after getting all the money to run the televised ads, that guy calls for a national draft. That guy's 68 years old. That's who you're representing. And you're saying these people, hey, you know, they got all the wisdom, right? Hey, Ed Gowron, he went over and fought and did whatever, and he was special forces. Those medals might as well be refrigerator magnets. He wants me to go fight and die. That's boomer foreign policy. That's Lindsey Graham foreign policy. That's Chuck Schumer foreign policy. That's Donald Trump foreign policy. It's across the spectrum, Democrat and Republican. These are war hawks and people that love to spend the money of future generations, and they're putting a lien on our future. That's what's going on. It's the national debt. It's the deaths overseas. It's all of it. That's what I'm talking about here. You're just like, it's nothing. And then the astrology and the generations change. I'm giving you real logic as to what these
all of what I'm talking about is part of the equation.
I'm surprised they don't have the clock on the screen. That was one thing I needed a timer.
I look at astrology because these patterns come down and they're long form. They're playing the long form. And yes, you could say that all the boomers are in the White House, but it's always been that way. And so what I'm asking is, then why aren't the younger generation stepping up and running for Congress, running for Senate, and maybe trying to get the older generation out? Obviously, during the last pandemic of COVID-19, the elderly were targeted to be kind of wiped out. The globalists know that they're spending a lot of the Social Security numbers, so they've been attacked. For the hospital to go die. And so they have been wiping out their own kind. If this is a predator class, that's a huge population. And the boomers are no longer the most populated generation anymore. The millennials have taken over. The boomers are dying out. And so what's going to happen with all their wealth? They can invest it in all the wars, which is happening to all of our money if you're a taxpayer, but which a lot of them are doing is trying to give it to their kids and bypass this. And they don't want to see their grandkids go to war. Do you think the rich want to see their grandkids go to war?
The old people.
Rex,
she's kind of steamrolling. He's got to get more. Like, he's just repeating his same points from his opening over again. He's got to come with something different, because she's just going to keep rambling.
Why don't you respond to that? Sorry, when there's a little bit of crosstalk, it's hard for me to hear, so I don't know about the audience. But let's just respond quickly on potential good motives and this whole notion of like pulling up on the bootstraps, the millennials. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I mean, these people, the idea that somebody who had to pay $50 to $200 of rent is going to wag their finger in my face and criticize me about my financial.
That's what I said. She is like an older Marilyn.
Choices or anyone in my generation is absolutely laughable. And the idea that these people are raised for war, raised for battle, these are the children of the people that fought. These are the children of the greatest generation. You recognize Vietnam and you reference it, and I absolutely agree with you. Those people are heroes. That is not the vast majority of boomers did not fight in Vietnam. You do understand that, right? But yet they overwhelmingly vote for all these wars they don't have to fight in, like Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine, Iran. That's what they do. They're war hawks because they were raised off the stolen valor of what their parents did in World War II. So this whole spirit of like the fighting boomer, the brave boomer, these are the people that went to Woodstock, and the $5 bill they had in their pocket was worth like $200. It's like the idea of the noble boomer. These are the people that couldn't care less, and are the first generation to leave us behind, millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, with a worse world than what they were given. That's what this all comes down to. They screwed the country over. Has America gotten better or worse in the past 30 years that they've been the dominant voting bloc?
Well, look at the previous 30 years. Like, you can always say it's constantly getting better or worse. And this is why I talk about the cycles, right? So when you talk about the generational cycles for turnings, there's a reason for this, because the different generations, you look at
She has a book, guys. Look at her book.
4-generation cycle. There's an artist, the heroes, the prophet, the nomads. And so it's propaganda and like set up by the globalist elite to propaganda us to.
Marilyn, if you can't see the comparisons, then I can't help you.
have two different sides of the opposing other. So yeah, a lot of people went to Vietnam, a lot of people went to college, and a lot of people went to Woodstock on purpose. The CIA is behind all of it. And just with every other generation, when I was entering
she sounds just like you, Marilyn.
high school years, we were propaganda to either go to prison or to have a drug addiction and to say fuck the man, right? Excuse me, language there. And so every generation we have these blessings and these crises that happen within our lifespan. And the reason I bring up astrology is because it's always based off Uranus. That Uranus is an 84-year orbit. Because
no, astrology is based off Uranus. It ain't based off my anus. It's based off of Uranus.
It makes transit. We see a huge change in society when Uranus and Jupiter conjuncted in April 20th.
Oh my God, it's some freaking star crap. That's why the economy's bad. Jupiter and Uranus aligned.
2024. On our podcast, Fauci's Field Project, we talked about this is going to be when war comes up, new technology. This is when the calendar and money currency changes. And here we are 2 years later, bam, here we are. That's why I look at the stars, because if people blow this, they pay attention to it.
Rex, don't you know Mercury's in retrograde? Jupiter and Uranus are lined up. That means the economy is going to be bad for the next 2 years. Duh.
Because there's real cycles. There's cycles within the generations, and there's cycles within the stars, and it's happening right now.
Let's let Rex respond. Rex, your response.
With all due respect, I view that as like drum circle smoking crack. Like I don't view that as true logic. You know,
okay, as we let the jugglers run our world, like you know what I mean. Like,
don't interrupt him. Just real quick, Rex. So respond fully.
Hold on. Is astrology an established science? Is it provable? Can you?
It's the oldest science. Yes, it is. It is, because you know why? All the planets move in a predictable manner, just like generations have a predictable manner, depending on the cycle of the four turnings.
Oh my God. I hope that something tells me Rex is going to win this, but I hope he does.
It's a long form game that the look at.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Like it's like trying to debate someone that thinks My Little Pony is real.
You should ask her about crystals, Rex.
So why don't you talk a little bit about this notion of?
I promise you, she has a couple decks of tarot cards, some crystals.
Well, every generation does it, right? And do you think that there's something particular about the Boomer generation that is causing these tendencies?
Her earrings and her necklace are jade. She's going with jade today. Jade makes her feel peaceful and prosperous.
Yes, well, they were raised in the post-World War II era with the best economy ever, where America was the sole manufacturing superpower. She mentions like all these various factors and things. Let me give you a factor. The entire world was destroyed post-World War II. We were the only people left that could make things large scale. You have this overwhelming wealth in the gold standard, later the petrodollar, everything that the boomers got to enjoy, where it truly was like being a Roman citizen. So you have this generation that grows up in this lap of luxury, and they are the most spoiled people on earth. That's just the truth. And they want us to go fight and die for them. They want us to pay into systems like the Social Security and Medicare, Medicaid that we're never going to get. You brushed that off earlier. You didn't respond to it. There is no argument you can make for me paying into a system that I'm never going to receive. Uranus doesn't matter. Okay.
And I told you, yeah, you're not going to probably receive it, but that system won't exist when you need it.
I think he's agreeing with that.
It will, as we're
right now, the government is all up in Uranus.
Moving through society and its transits, it constantly changes. Those systems just won't be there when you become an elder, where the boomers are elders now. So whatever system you're working with, and I have a question for you. Are you not living in luxury right now?
I am a manufacturer and an employer. I've been working in business for years. What'd you say, ma'am?
Well, yeah. Are we not living in luxury right now?
No, things are going down the tubes. As a businessman, I just lost my warehouse because I can't deal with the diesel surcharges on fulfillment in a war that the boomers voted to start.
So in the 60s, everybody was living in luxury, huh?
It was a lot better now. The dollar was worth more.
That's a straw man anyway.
That's so everybody were just like.
So no, you're denying the buying power that you're an old person. I'm sorry, you are, that your generation, older generations has had. We don't have that buying power.
I'm sorry, what generation am I?
How old are you, ma'am?
I'm right in between.
I'm 33. Watch her say she's way younger than she looks.
I'm a Zennial.
How old are you, ma'am?
I'm right in between. I'm a Zennial.
You're a Zennial, so you're somewhere between 30 and 40. I'm a Zennial. I'm 38. She's 35 to 40, somewhere in there. He thinks she's like 60.
You got to give a number. I'm 23.
So no wonder you're mad. See, you are in a totally different gap. Of course, you're going to hate what the older generation is doing.
She doesn't want to answer how old she is. She skipped that. What planets were in retrograde the year that you were born, lady?
Because you think that they should have built and left you a luxurious planet for you to be the next baby boomer. You're so envious of their childhood. You have no idea what their childhood was like compared to yours. You have this idea that has been programmed into your generation's mind that that life was so much more glorious. It was the golden age. And that's what every generation is propaganda. We're all sold that, history was almost so much more better. Hey, I was in high school in the 90s. Do you know how many people are trying to relive the 90s right now? Hilarious.
Yeah, so Rex, quick response on that, and then we're going to be out of our time, but I want to let you
don't
respond to
know
that.
what the hardship is yet. You're too young to know. You just think that your luxury is less than theirs. It's lame.
Rex, let's do a response.
It's lame. It's lame. Dude, this is Maryland debate strategy 101 right here. Oh, my God.
Okay, sure. The boomers post-World War II experienced.
How much does your sugar mama need to make for you to be able to chase your YouTube dreams? I need a minimum $3,000 allowance every month.
Like I said, the greatest expansion and creation of wealth in the United States of America that had ever been seen, to the point where you had
maybe $1,000 a week. That'd be gravy. I'll be a sugar baby for $1,000 a week.
Income tax as high as 91% because people could afford to pay it. Okay, that's how much money was coming into the country. Cut toward.
I'm a zennial, which is stupid. It's either millennial or Gen Z. I'm a millennial, but they call it, if you're on the cusp, they call it a zennial. You should know about cusps. You're into this gay astrology crap.
Now, cut towards later, you're telling me, a 23-year-old whose country is $40 trillion in debt, you're telling me, oh, well, that just
happened. In debt.
No, you're interrupting. All right, you're interrupting again, so you're going to have to stop doing that. So you're telling me, well, just suck it up, Buttercup. You're nostalgic for the old days. Yes, I'm nostalgic.
Zillennial was a zennial. It's called a zennial, Maryland. And 1977 and 1983. I don't know if that's right. The dates are always changing and different.
From when we weren't in $40 trillion of debt. I miss that time. And you can look distinctly, Bill Clinton in the 90s, he was the first president, the only president in modern history to get the debt down from 4 trillion to 3.2, I believe is the number. What happened after that? Who came in power after that? The past 30 years, specifically the past 18, it has been the boomer population electorate and the boomer population politicians that have voted for the wars, the expansion of the deficit, the $800 billion plus military spending, all of it. That is all the old people. I, graduating class of 2020, am responsible for none of that, but I have to pay into that system. I have to
never really experienced like where your own generation has been.
We have to do times up on that first 15 minutes. Really appreciate the energy there. So we're going to take a quick break. All right, a quick break.
Their wealth through civic.
This section, I will be asking some clarifying questions, and we'll be making sure that some.
So then this is the Q&A section. So like, it's 10 minutes. The moderator asks each person some questions, and then if there's time at the end, you get to ask, like, cross-examine your opponent if there's any questions they haven't answered yet.
Semantics are covered, and that both sides are understanding each other. And I want to draw from some of the examples used in the first round of the debate. So I want to start with Rex. Rex, as you understand the prompt, is this about moral responsibility? In other words, is how you see this prompt about culpability? You're not just talking about like causality, that the boomers, literally caused the moment we're in. You're saying that they did so and that they're morally culpable for, correct?
Sure. It's like lighting a bunch of money on fire to keep yourself warm type of thing, right? They did it out of like dispassion and disinterest. They didn't care about continuing on the country and the nature that it had been provided to them through the greatest generation, which is trying to make life better for that next generation. They voted for entitlements. They voted for wars. They voted for reckless spending. That's what they did. It's kind of like manslaughter. In a way.
Right. So you're not saying that, like, I guess by the function of them being around and doing things, that they're responsible in that sense. You're saying that they did some bad things, some negligent things for which they are culpable, right?
It's like somebody's criminal record, but it's a voting record.
Got it. And now, Mariah, so one of the examples used were the kind of quote unquote entitlement programs and like Social Security and that kind of thing. And I think one of your responses was something that I think Rex agrees with, and that is the notion that it will at some point fail or it will end. I think you guys actually agreed on that, but I think the point that he was making, I want your response, is that that's like bad, that there's like a breaking of trust between his generation and younger generations and boomers, and the fact that they won't get it. And I want to give you an opportunity to respond to that. Not that it will happen, but that it's like not fair that it happened.
Well, for me, we all were born into this taxpayer, everyday people. And so the Social Security and this Medicare, those systems are dramatically changing. So yes, we've all been paying into it, but what about, of course, we're probably not all going to see it, but I don't think that they are going to exist. And so we're all in that same boat where we're all paying into a system that we may not be able to see the benefits of, right? And
do you think that that's fair? Do you agree with him that it seemed like a little bit
it's not fair.
Yeah.
Paying these taxes is piracy, tyranny at all costs. Absolutely. But blame the older people who have been paying into it as well. And yes, they're getting some of the benefits, but they're also getting off like you wouldn't believe. Now they're probably also paying into future things that they will never see the benefit.
I'm going to skip ahead because I got to leave soon.
And it's not. And it's not a fair game to play. So we need
I don't think that he would deny that.
Just
real quick to follow up real quick. So there's other forces at play. I think that I'm not hearing Rex deny that. But what would it take for you specifically, though, to say that there was a generational issue? In other words, what would it have to be demonstrated to you for you to accept that, okay, there's some other forces at work here, and maybe even Rex would agree with some of that, but that there is a generational issue? What would it take for you to be convinced?
So obviously I'm aware that there are generational gaps, and we are all given a different playlist. I feel we're giving a different reality. So the Plutonian way, and I feel like we don't live in a democracy, we live in a Plutonian type of reality, that all these different generations are kind of given a different blueprint, and they're given a different reality of time.
We do not live in Plato's version of a republic. The commies used Plato's republic for the whole model of communism.
They are propaganda a different way. They are giving different directions and mind control that we are unaware of. And so there's definitely a gap. And the oldest people to the youngest people, they're not going to see eye to eye because they have lived in completely different realities. The younger ones only see the future. They are completely fixed on their present and the future. And the older ones are looking back. Yes, a lot of them have regret. A lot of them wish they could have done things differently. And that's the human process of hindsight and getting older. And so, yes, there's definitely a different generation gap. The different generations are going to have overall different policies, different morals, and different virtues. And that is even based off of the stars, including Pluto. That's transit, and Uranus, like I talked about. For Pluto, really stamps a generation. It takes about 20 years to go through a sign. It's in Aquarius right now. That's why we are in the...
What the hell is she talking about?
The age of Aquarius. And so Pluto goes retrograde half that time. So half the population are going to go with the status quo that are born underneath that sign of Pluto in that sign. And the other half of the generation are going to oppose it. And so with every generation...
So is that all just a way to say... Sorry to interrupt you. Just have to limit the time real quick.
She's saying the boomers aren't responsible for the economy. The freaking stars are responsible for the economy, and Pluto in retrograde, and Mars and Uranus. That's what she's saying. That's her argument. Is that, I mean, everything. If to one of these astrology weirdos, everything is based off of the stars, I guess. Crazy. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. Rex keeps doing this. This bitch is cuckoo.
You're going to oppose each other.
So is that a way of saying that the generations' paths are kind of guided by the stars, and so this notion of culpability is kind of it doesn't apply? Just a quick yes or no on that. Do you think that it's mostly the stars and not so much choices?
No, that's just a tool. It's definitely choices. It's definitely energy, but
it's definitely energy, guys. It's choices and energy.
Globalists definitely take advantage of that and try to rope it in and utilize it.
How do you debate about the generation that's responsible for the economy, and your opponent says it's the stars' fault? How do you deal with this? Rex is just like, he said it's like debating a person that believes in unicorns. Unicorns were real at one point, by the way. They're just extinct.
Okay, well, let's have Rex respond to that.
Can you assign a percentage of astrology, the stars, the Uranus, the planets, the whatever, it moves things, and is it like a 20%? Is it like a 75%? Is it mystical and vague and nobody can know? And if that's the case, I gotta say it's probably not real.
Almost always 100%, Rex. When we see these,
it's 100% the stars, Rex. Duh.
patterns happen in society with these stars, with these planets aligned. So it's 100%. It's 100%. 100%. You see the same patterns.
We got an answer on that, Rex. Response.
Same patterns with the generations. So the GI was before the boomers, right? And so we're seeing that the Generation Z are in the same pattern as the GIs. So
response to that, Rex, real quick. So you got an answer.
Is going to have the high.
Just real quick. I just want to make sure he gets a chance to. I just want to make sure he gets a chance to respond. So you got an answer. She said roughly 100%.
Roughly 100%.
Hocus bongus tokus. That's all I have to say. You said it didn't matter. You said it was a tool, and then you say it's 100%. That makes your position illogical.
It's a tool. It's the oldest math. It's the oldest science. 100%. Yes, the same patterns happen. And I've been on this planet longer than you to see the patterns.
Okay, let's just pause real quick.
To deny all these different tools that we have at our fingertips.
I hate that he's getting mic mogged in this. You can't hear anything he's saying when she's talking. So she can just talk over him this whole debate. He's getting mic mogged.
It's ridiculous.
Rex, I'll give you the opportunity to respond, but before, just and because we're almost done with this round, we're going to go back to the open period. But before that, I just want to make sure we have a good sense of the boomers. You mean people who are born like roughly between the 40s and the 60s in the post-World War II era, correct?
Sure. So, it's a kind of a spiritual aspect. I'd say some of the older Gen X are definitely that way as well. The definition is 1946 to 1964. I do believe that's what.
Oh, then that's interesting to me. Talk a little bit about that spiritual aspect of it, where it's like someone can be not a boomer but spiritually boomer. If there is a way for that to be true, what are the things that kind of encapsulate it?
It's overconfidence in the American empire. It's a belief that America is the same America of immediate post-World War II, right? Where we are the global hegemon. We can go run around the world and be the world policeman and morally intervene and do all these things, where we just simply don't have the military production capacity and resources that we had 80 years ago, right? We are not the only manufacturing superpower. In fact, we are not even a manufacturing superpower anymore. China is. So a person could spiritually be a boomer if they support, neocon foreign policy, if they support giving money into entitlements to the old people specifically, but specifically the war. That's what's really destroyed this country, not just at home, but on the international stage as well. It's why our relationships suck with other world powers that are now in ascendancy. And that has overwhelmingly been a boomer foreign policy. Boomers made those decisions. Those are boomer senators. I listed it, you kind of laughed it off. 60 out of 99 senators right now are boomers. You're not saying you don't think they have an outsized influence on,
We're the other generations.
So Mariah, you're going to have the
nice. Yeah, I think Rex is handily going to win this one.
First word on our next segment, but that was a very
all right, guys, it's 8:52. I gotta end this. I've got to head out. Got to get ready for work and whatnot. Just like the moon affects the ocean, big energies aligning can be felt and predicted. Elites can tell the future with it. Oh my God. Whatever. All right, guys. I guess we'll go to Easy Stream. Let me see. Why is he not? Oh, here he is. Okay. We'll go to Easy Stream. Thank you guys for watching. It's been the Dreaded Conservative Show. Monday night, kicking the week off right. The world's a crazy place. I just report on it. If you like it, tell a friend. If you hate it, tell everybody. I've got to go to work, guys. Not going to be doing a morning stream tomorrow. I need to edit. Possibly the next 2 days, just pure editing in the morning. So no morning stream for a little while. I've got to get this this DebateCon video. Yesterday was the 1 week since DebateCon, since I got home from DebateCon. It feels like it's only been a couple days, but I've got to get this video edited. So I've got to focus on that over the next 2 days. My time on lunch, I need to spend editing. When I'm at the gym, I'm going to be editing. When I get home, I'm going to be editing until I go to bed. That's the plan. We need to get that video out by Friday at the latest. But thank you guys for watching. God bless everybody. We're going over to Easy's channel. Hit the like button when you get over there. Hit the like button here if you haven't yet on your way out. I will see you guys later. I'm out. Peace.